Just before we start, I just wanted to mention one thing quickly. Helos & Co. and Sporting Club Helos are independent missions. They're both run solely by myself. So if you could like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, it would mean the world. Check out helosandco.com. And without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome back to Helos Homies. I'm here with one of the R&B hip-hop kings of Australian music. One of the best role models in Western Sydney for the youth. Also, over 200 million views and 500k subscribers on YouTube, 160k monthly listeners, and almost 20 million streams on Spotify alone. A fucking hustler at that. And also someone that's younger than me. Welcome to the pod, DJ Discretion.
Thank you so much for having me.
No worries, bro.
Far out. It's a lot of numbers.
Crazy numbers, bro.
I mean, even just not the actual numbers themselves, but it's like so much to keep track of. Like Spotify, then YouTube, and
Do you reckon Spotify is more popular than Apple Music?
yeah, 100%.
Yeah? On your end?
I switched to Spotify because the platform it feels better.
Yeah.
I used to be so like, oh, Apple Music's better, trying to be so like to the left,
yeah.
and then I was like, oh, okay, found myself on Spotify. But just I think most people are on Spotify.
Do you reckon it's because Spotify are real active with like Hayden from Take Flight? Like he has Flight Night, right? Like he has his own playlist in collaboration with Spotify. Do you think it's because Spotify does stuff like that like they do pretty well?
Yeah, I think playlisting's better. Like public playlists are better on Spotify.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's why I switched to Spotify in terms of everyday listening. It's just easier to find new music and
yeah, Spotify radio is crazy where you just
so good.
click on the three dots, go to radio, and then it just gives you all these different songs that are somewhat similar.
Have you seen the new DJ feature, the AI feature?
No.
I've been using that for the last like week, maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's just like a AI thing that tries to it's basically like Spotify radio, except like there's this voice that's talking just like you're listening to a radio, and it's like, all right, we've got the best new hip hop for you, or you know, this is what you were listening back like 2 years ago, things like that.
Yeah, so it's giving you like old school radio vibes.
Yeah, pretty much based on what you listen to and what they think you like. So it's cool, but I mean, for me, like, because there's so many different types of music that I listen to, sometimes it's not what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
It's like I like to listen to jazz music when I'm cleaning, not when I'm driving. Like, so when I'm in the car and it's like jazz music, I'm like, oh, like, give me some blast or something.
Yeah.
But no, it's a cool feature. You should try it.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
What do you listen to? As like someone who's in the hip hop R&B, what like outside of that, what do you listen to?
Outside of hip hop R&B,
yeah,
it's more. I think, to be honest, the easiest question would be the easiest answer would be that I don't listen to certain types of music because there's less to answer to. Like I don't really listen to hard style music, so like cancel that. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, right.
It's like the culture, like the festival culture.
I went to Tomorrowland. That's why I love it. You see it like at its like,
Yeah, man.
bro. You see that it's like its epitome, and you've never seen anything like it. Like it's crazy. It's like 30,000 people there every day for like 3 or 4 days, and there, I didn't see one fight. Like, or maybe I saw one. That amount of people in one area, bro, with all the blokes and like who knows what they're on. For them to have one fight, like for me to only see one fight, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like you, the only sort of drama I guess you hear is all like drug related.
Yeah, 110%.
But I don't listen to that. But I don't judge it because again, like that's very popular, and I can understand why people like it. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
What I do listen to, I listen to a lot of. I go through the decades. Like I can listen to, like some 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. 90s is a given. Like I do a lot of 90s stuff on.
Yeah, same.
Like online.
Yeah.
But I'm quite interested in everything. I think because I'm very interested in what makes the song what makes the song. Yeah. So it allows me to enjoy more music. Whereas that's the reason with hardstyle is because I've sort of figured it out. Like it's the distortion. It's like it makes people go crazy. Not crazy, but you know what I mean. Like people love it. Yeah. So it's like I couldn't listen to that because I sort of understand why.
Yeah, right. That makes sense.
Yeah. Like I said, jazz music is what I listen to when I clean. When I'm driving, it could be like still hip hop and R&B. Not a lot of Michael Jackson, but Michael Jackson, Prince, Afrobeats I was probably given as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I like. My likes is just very weird. Like sometimes I like songs that are just like video game songs. Like my favorite video game is Kingdom Hearts. So I listen to when I'm reading, I listen to some of the soundtracks from that.
Yeah, right.
There's no singing or anything, so it's quite easy to like read when you're listening to like a piano. So.
Yeah, I had a guy at JB Hi-Fi that listened to exclusively soundtracks from video games.
Exclusively?
Like that, like he didn't listen to music. Like he got into video games at a young age. He loved them. I worked with him at JB Hi-Fi, right? And yeah, and then I because we had a speaker out the back, so I used to work out the back.
Yeah.
And he worked out the back with me as well. I'm not gonna say his name, but shout out to him if you're listening. I don't think he would be. But I'd put on my music. I'd be like, hey man, like, do you want to put on anything? He's like, honestly, bro, I listen to like game music. Like, I don't think you want to listen. And I'd be like, oh, sure. Like, feel free to put it on. But then, yeah, one day he put it on. I was like, oh, fuck, you actually do listen to it. Like,
yeah.
And yeah, it's just like the whole soundtrack from like these games he played. Like 20 different games, just their whole soundtrack playlist.
There's no difference though. Like probably gives him the same nostalgia that we get when we listen to any other type of music. So
yeah,
I think it's just fun. Like people might find it funny that like the source of the music is coming from a video game, but like
FIFA's like that, bro. If you ever play FIFA, people remember all the soundtrack. I still remember some of the FIFA like 12 soundtracks.
FIFA, WWE, NBA, 2K.
Yeah, 2K was good.
Yeah, 2K.
GTA Radio.
GTA Radio. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Hooligan Hefs, J-Rock, man. That's such a good song, man. Such a good song.
Yeah.
Take me back, man. What was your childhood like? Where'd you grow up?
I was born and raised in Blacktown.
Yeah.
My childhood was really good, to be honest. Like, to be honest, I had a pretty normal childhood. Like, I have two very loving parents, and my sister's I have an older sister, 3 years older than me. She's very caring. She's always been. There's not much to me in terms of painting a picture. Like I
play sport.
Yeah, I played rugby union my whole life.
Yeah, wow.
Since I think I was 3 turning 4 is when I started, and I stopped right before I graduated high school. So
how come?
So I originally stopped because I wanted to focus on school that year. There was some other stuff that happened in our rugby season that made us sort of stop. We were a very good team. Like I played for, the club was Blacktown Scorpions, and so that's under Parramatta 2 Blues, and we won state champs, and we were undefeated for so long, and like the top division you could get, or you could enter. And in our last season, like it just halfway through it stopped. So like it also gave me the opportunity to be like, yeah, I can focus on school. And I wanted to pick it up after high school, but music took off as I expected. So I just didn't have time on weekends, and like I had time to train because my weekdays are pretty flexible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just couldn't get back into it for time. But I miss it every day. Like I do.
Yeah. Any of the boys you play with going to play any levels?
Not in rugby union. So I played with us. Spencer Laniel played with us for 2 of those years at Blacktown.
Proper dog, man.
Yeah.
It's a hard hit.
Yeah. We went to school together. I went to Paddy's with Spencer as well from year 7 to year 12. Spencer's the only one that played that has made it.
Yeah.
That I can think of. Like I played against people. Like I played against in the Wallabies now, Angus Bell. So shout out to Angus Bell, man. He made it that far. Wallabies playing the World Cup right now.
The big boy, eh?
Yeah. He played for Hunters Hill back in our junior years. Top dog now, far out.
Yeah.
World Cup stage. That's incredible.
You been watching the World Cup?
No, it's just weird timing. I wanted to. I watched all the other games.
Yeah.
Not live though. I've had to watch it after.
Yeah.
But I've been keeping up to date with it. It's only the first round, so beat Georgia. So that's we're Fiji next. So that's
beat Georgia by 2 tries, man. We're in trouble, I reckon. I don't know. I've never played union, never really followed it, but I got into it this year because Italy. I've been half Italian.
Oh, nice. Yeah, okay.
Italy got like a good chance because we got a few of the boys from not the England team, but blokes that could have played for England that would rather start for Italy. We look good, and I started following it, and then obviously just keeping up with the Wallabies, All Blacks as well. Them losing to France, I just got so intrigued. Saturday morning, woke up, was like, shit, like it's actually. I want to see someone from the Northern Hemisphere have a crack. You know what I mean?
I don't. So yeah, go on.
No, but you know what I mean. Like I don't know. Like Springboks, Kiwi. Like if it's Springbok All Blacks final, it's just like, okay, it's the same thing we've seen.
Yeah.
Or even if we end up in the mix, I'd love that. But like, I wouldn't mind seeing France have a crack.
Yep.
England seem to talk so much, but they got no idea. And Ireland and Wales should have a better like crack at it than they do, in my opinion.
Ireland specifically, yeah.
Yeah, like there's clearly I've watched a few Ireland games, like when they versus the All Blacks, like these guys are like unbelievable.
Yeah,
Like,
they're world number one though.
yeah,
They've been world number one for I don't know how many years now. But
for me coming into Union, in my head, All Black Springboks.
That's
like,
true, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I watched them, I'm like, oh, like I missed something here. Like growing up, like I didn't think anyone would be better than the All Blacks. Watching Dan Carter and Richie McCaw, you know, like. But yeah, watching it now, I was watching it on the weekend. I was like, oh shit. When we versus Georgia, I was surprised because I know Georgia are gun at the scrimmage. Like they're like proper dogs, man. We did well. Shout out to them. We did very well. But
shout out to Georgia.
Yeah.
And shout out to Georgia too.
Where does like the DJ / production, like where does the music come into your life, bro? Where does it all start?
I'm half Samoan, so people like to, especially the Samoans, they like to pin it to that if they ever, you know, when they find out I'm Samoan, they're like, that's where you get the music from. But my dad's also got a very good ear for music. And my dad's Australian, my mum's Samoan, so
Yeah.
just to clarify. My dad's the reason I got into DJing, which was DJing, I guess, was my second instrument. The guitar. I started playing guitar maybe at the same time, actually. I started playing guitar and DJing around the same time, I think. But my dad used to DJ for my mum's family back in the days. So my dad...
That's mad.
Yeah, and because my dad's very in tune with, especially back then, with the popular music then, R&B, hip-hop, and like the popular reggae stuff as well.
Yeah.
Things that Islanders like. He was the DJ for my mum's family.
Yeah.
And so I don't think I'd call him a DJ because I don't think he'd call himself a DJ, but he DJ'd.
Yeah.
And the story of how I picked it up is that he had this little like mixer, like I don't know where he got it from, but he had it, and I was like, oh, can you connect this to your laptop? And then he did that, and then I was just mucking around on it like it was a toy, and yeah, just kept doing that after school before training. I was 9 years old when that happened.
That's crazy.
So that's sort of the story, like, of how I got into the DJing specifically. The production stuff didn't come till like 2016 maybe, and that's just me mucking around because the programs that I was using for my remixes are more like production softwares.
Yeah. Like FL.
I was using FL. I was using FL at first to do my remixes, and then I switched to Logic. But yeah, like I was doing my remixes on FL, and so obviously being curious on FL, started making beats and stuff. Yeah, and then switched to Logic, and then fast forward. By the time I got to Biordi, Loki also shout out to Loki. Loki influenced me to also take the production serious as well as the DJing because I never really thought of it. Like I was sort of just doing it, and so. Yeah, and here we are today. To be honest, like it hasn't been that long. Like I know a lot of producers that have been doing it since they were young. Yeah. Sort of like how I was when I was DJing, but so that's sort of something I'm still getting on top of, trying to learn. Same with DJing, but you know, it's because you're always learning. Yeah, 100. But yeah, you know, I started doing remixes when I was 14 or 15 on SoundCloud and Facebook. Back when people were on Facebook, and when even like that's where it took off, Facebook, and I never even thought to upload it onto YouTube until like I was just like, oh, I may as well, like YouTube's a video platform, so I may as well put it there. Facebook took off. That's a weird sentence. Facebook took off. Yeah, but like that doesn't happen anymore.
Bro, Facebook used to be a hack for like growing like DJs, for artists, for everything. Like I can just remember so many different phases of like Facebook videos. Yeah. And yeah, like for yourself, like those mixes were massive because people like they didn't know where to find them elsewhere. Like people were unaware of SoundCloud yet. And then they'd find them on YouTube, get taken down from YouTube. Then they figured out, oh, you can go to SoundCloud. But before that, it was like Facebook. It was just like Instagram was 15-second videos at the time. Yeah, that's right. And square 15-second videos. That's right. Yeah, and then Snapchat was videos only or photos only.
I think it was photos only, and only like it was just friends. Like I don't think it was like stories.
It's not what it was today, that's for sure.
Nothing is. Instagram is probably the closest. Oh, Facebook, but no one uses Facebook. So
Yeah, no one used. Well, Facebook died very quickly. But yeah, but April 21st, 2016, DJ Discretion uploads the J Cole mix. Crazy, bro. That's only 7 years ago. That does. What was it overnight? Like 300 or was it 70?
yeah, it was like, yeah, I think it was like, man, I actually can't remember. There's two that did well. That's why,
Yeah.
and one did better than the other. But because this one was first, I thought it was doing really, really well.
Yeah.
I think it might have been 70. Yeah, let's go for the lower number.
Bro, 70 in 2016 is crazy. Still today is crazy on any video you upload. If you wake up or even in 3 days to 70K on a video, even on TikTok, you've done well to hit the algorithm. Bro, what do you think? You're age 15 there, right?
2015?
2016 or 2015 when it went? Yeah, 2016 when it went up. So how old are you then?
15? In April, 2016, yeah.
But what are you thinking as like a 15-year-old and you're sitting there looking at your laptop and you're like, I just uploaded this mix and it got 70K views.
Yeah, I loved it. It was just like, whoa, people like what I made. And it was my first like remix on Facebook. So it was like pretty cool that happened. And yeah, I think I had school the next day and I walked in and I think I was expecting more comments. Like people go, "Hey, good remix on," but there was like 3 people. So, it was like, so thanks for the support, boys. But
Yeah.
no, yeah, it was cool because again, Facebook was the thing at the time, and so seeing those high numbers in a short amount of time, yeah, it was cool. It was very motivating, which led me to the next remix, which was I think I did a remix that didn't actually go that well, or as well.
Yeah.
And then after that, I did a Bryson Tiller remix, Bryson Tiller and Tupac.
And Tiller reposted it, hey.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, that was cool.
Because Exchange was out at the time, wasn't it?
Exchange was out at the time, but the remix was Don't.
Yeah, because...
I did an Exchange remix though. I did a remix with Exchange.
Which one took him off? Because remember, it came out of nowhere. Right?
Don't took him up because Don't was apparently he was like still at like working at McDonald's or something like that.
Yeah, something took
Don't.
Tiller overnight, like legit overnight.
Yeah,
I remember that.
There was Don't. That was his first one, and then Exchange just took
Carried
him
him further.
Yeah.
And so you upload the Exchange remix?
No, the Don't remix.
Oh, don't remix, sorry.
Yeah.
And like Tiller reposted it.
Yeah.
Like even as a 23-year-old, like fuck, that's cool. But like as a 15-year-old, you how are you feeling when you saw that?
Oh, like I reposted it.
Yeah.
Screenshot, wallpaper.
Yeah.
Nah, I didn't do a wallpaper. But no, I was over the moon because I was just like, again, it was also quick. Like, so I feel like these are things that, you know, like I was expecting to like sort of work to, like recognition from like the artists themselves for like the remixes that I do. But yeah, I was over the moon, but it all came crashing down because like a few months later, my Facebook page got deleted. So all that evidence was like gone besides the screenshot. But yeah, no, that was a crazy time.
Is that for copyright strikes?
Well, I didn't get any copyright strikes. I don't know, something like it was like Uruguay or something. Like it actually told me where like a complaint came from. It was like in Uruguay. So I was like, maybe someone was like reporting me for copyright.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I was like 20,000 likes on my Facebook page at that point.
That's mad.
Which was a big deal to me because I wasn't in the tens of thousands for anything else at that point, YouTube or Instagram.
Yeah.
But no, that was a pinnacle of my younger career.
For anyone listening that's under the age of, I'd say 20, Facebook back then was like almost like TikTok in terms of growth. Like you could just hit the feeds, I reckon. And it would just like your platform could grow so quickly. But a lot of people would be quite loyal. Yeah, very similar to TikTok. Like the following can be really strong really quickly. It can just happen like seemingly overnight. Within a few weeks, all of a sudden you got 10,000 on Facebook back then, I'd say is like the equivalent of like 100K on TikTok right now.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's a good equation, yeah.
And it was just like so hard to try and explain it to people that didn't go through it. But back then, bro, it was just like, yeah, it's crazy the growth the platform provided.
Yeah.
And the exposure as well. And it was just like, yeah, it was really Facebook was the only app back then, like, and Tumblr. Shout out to, I don't know if it's still running, but yeah, they were like the only platforms where like you could find creativity and you could find like real inspiration because Instagram hadn't hit like real maturity yet.
Do you remember you know Fortify?
Yeah.
Yeah, Facebook.
Yeah.
Like he ran Facebook at that point. Like, wasn't he like the second most liked page on Facebook at some point? Or
Yeah.
like, or very high number.
Yeah. For those listening, Fortify's, for those who don't know, entrepreneur from Logan, I'm pretty sure in Queensland.
I think so, yeah.
Now lives in Dubai, connects all the Aussies to business, like big business contacts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember he was big on social media when we were younger.
Yeah.
So I used to get him, bro. Truth be told, I only figured this out in like 2020. Him and Forte, didn't know there was a difference. So, bro, when I'm listening to Forte, right, like, because I used to listen to gutter rap,
Yeah.
I still do, like, it still has a place in my heart. But like Forte, Curse, all those guys,
Yeah.
and like, I'm listening and I'm going like, fuck, like this guy's super rich and he's still doing gutter rap. And I'm going like, and then it hit me in 2020. I'm looking at Fortify and I'm looking at him like, no, that's not Forte. Like, who's this guy? And then, and then it hit me. It's like, oh, a completely different person. But yeah, I remember he was big on big on Facebook.
Yeah.
And kills Instagram now. He's massive, man.
Yeah.
Boy from Logan who started a few apps, took him to the world, and off he went, man.
So fun to watch his stories as well.
Yeah.
It's like it's a whole different scene.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, it's fun.
Would you ever live overseas?
I wanted to move to the US right after high school, and then I just felt like there was no need,
Yeah.
so I didn't.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, like I can't see myself at the moment. Maybe in the future, like after things have already like once I've sort of cemented my name into certain places that I want it to be. Maybe then.
Yeah.
But at the moment, no, I can't really.
Because you get like, bro, there's guys like Will Singe who actually did it, succeeded massively, and then they come home. But like, there's almost like not like a disconnect, but like Australia media didn't give him recognition. So when he comes home, I know of him, but I didn't know he's Australian. And bro, his song, I'm pretty sure Will Singe has 1 billion streams on a song. With Jonas Blue.
Mama, yeah.
Yeah. And then like, but bro, no, like it's getting played in our radios, and they're not even saying there's an Aussie on it. You know,
There's like no pride in it.
yeah.
Mainstream media, like
But I think it's because he was based in the US, which is like sucks. It's like, well, the kid's clearly gone over, taking a shot at it, and back then you kind of had to, I reckon, in the R&B space. Like, look at Iggy, look at Kid Laroi right now. Like, got to take that jump. Mason, I had Mason on in here 3 or 4 days ago.
Yep.
And like he went out, he came home, but like he had to go over there to do it. You know, like
T-Pain, yeah.
yeah,
T-Pain?
thank you,
Yeah,
T-Pain.
that was cool. That was so cool.
Crazy,
I love
bro.
seeing things like that, like
Yeah.
Mason Day and T-Pain. Like, I love seeing the collaborations and the recognition from other artists, from artists outside of Australia to our Australian artists.
Yeah,
So cool to see.
it's like Ferg 1-4. That was cool.
Yeah,
growing up on it.
even was it Dutchavelli in 1-4?
Yeah,
That was cool too. That was cool.
Dave put them on his story as well. I
Yeah.
remember he was like in a car and he just was like listening to the music and he put it on his.
That's why
story.
he was just
Yeah, he's
filming himself.
Yeah. And he hardly uploads anything, and he put that up, and that went pretty good. But I remember when Ferg, because bro, I'm not sure how many like house parties you went to go to back in the day, but like Shabba from like ASAP Ferg, like that whole like
I
even
know
though,
that's
even though it's not Ferg, but like that ASAP, like the ASAP crew dominated from like 2013, I reckon, to like 2017. So like seeing Ferg come over here in 2019 or 2020 maybe and do that song was like really cool to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was one of those things where, and then Mason, I was speaking to Mason about it. It was crazy because I grew up, like my sister is 9 years older than me or 8 years older. And like, so she'd listen to MTV. So I'm being exposed to like Bartender, I'm in love with a stripper, like all those massive like T-Pain songs.
Yeah.
And then, all of a sudden Mason Dane from Newcastle's over there with him, you know?
It's so good, man.
Pretty
It's
crazy.
so good.
Have you had any international artists reach out?
In terms of actual collaboration, no. In terms of recognition, like they like my stuff, yeah. I've had some.
Yeah.
Bryson Tiller.
Yeah, that's mad, bro. It's such a cool name to drop.
Recently, Dinah Jane. She was in Fifth Harmony.
Yeah.
She was here recently, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was here last week.
Oh shit.
Or she went back. She went back last week.
What was she doing here?
Shows? Yeah, I think she did a show.
Yeah.
I think she was maybe I don't know, maybe personal, maybe work, maybe both. Who else? Someone, Neo. Again, no collaboration, just like recognition. Like
That's cool,
stuff.
but
Yeah. Who else was there? I feel like there's one that I'm missing that's quite big, but
So Sick by Neo is one of the like my all-time favorites.
Nia's like one of my favorite songwriters. He's just
Yeah, he's done well.
yeah. Even for himself, like his own songs, his songwriting with his own songs, so good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
killed it.
but yeah,
What influence? This is a question I have for you. Obviously, a Western Sydney born and raised.
Mhm.
What influence do you think that had on your career and creativity as well?
I don't know if it's a subconscious thing because for some reason there's so much talent in Western Sydney and being shown now too. Like it's like a lot of the artists are just from Western Sydney. Like you think of especially the like the more popular ones too, like Hefs 1-4. It's there must I think it's just the I don't even know if it's the lifestyle. I think it might just be the the creative freedom that everybody has in Western Sydney. Like I know one thing about the school we went to, like they were very much for sort of bringing out like not bringing out your creativity, but like sort of doing what you sort of want to do.
Yeah.
That they pushed rugby league like hard, and I know that's also from a business point of view as well, but like you see all the talent coming out of Paddy's like sport, but music as well. Like I don't want to name drop anyone just in case they don't want to link themselves to the school or anything like that. But there's talent out of Paddy's too for music.
Yeah.
Even outside of the R&B hip hop scene, like or the drill scene, whatever you want to call it. Like I don't know. I actually can't explain why like that's a factor of the creativity, but there has to be something that I'm missing because it's.
Do you reckon it's because, shout out Hello Sport, one of the guys on Hello Sport, he dropped this quote and everyone runs with it. It's like, surround yourself with goers and you too shall go.
Mm.
Do you reckon it's like along those lines of like you're seeing all these people have a crack and kill it and you yourself are inspired to keep on having a crack and keep killing it?
Yeah, it's definitely a mindset thing of like a mindset with your surroundings. And yeah, Western Sydney is full of goers. Like they just do it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Yeah. If there's just so much talent. Maybe that's it. Western Sydney is just full of people that just do it.
Yeah. 100.
Nike.
It's different, bro. It's a different type of hustle, man.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are trying to get out of situations, but also a lot of people are not afraid to fail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they know what failure looks like. Like you can drive 10, 15 minutes anyway to see what it looks like. Like for the most part, a lot of us grow up around it.
Mm.
And like, you're just like, fuck, why not have a crack? Like what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to stay in the same place I'm in. Well, I'm already here.
Yeah.
So I may as well have a crack, you know?
Yeah.
And then I feel like as well, in the music way to put it, you see Hefs and 1-4, their level of success.
Yeah.
So it's like a matter of like, oh, they can do it, I can too.
Yeah.
We're not that different. Same with athletes. Bam Bam, Western Sydney Wanderers when they won the Champions League. That was crazy. Are you a football fan?
Not completely. I'm not a football hater though.
Yeah, I see you in the gear sometimes, eh?
Yeah. Shout out the Wanderers.
Yeah. But yeah, even the Wanderers winning the Champions League back in the day and now Panthers. It's just like there's like a level to it that is inspiring others to keep trying to hit that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not a coincidence. I don't think it's a coincidence. Like on so many levels, in so many different areas of life, I guess. Like there's just so much success, and it's hard with the reputation of that Western Sydney has.
Yeah, but I think we like to play into it.
I don't like that we like to play into it sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we play into it too much where we glorify the struggle.
Yeah.
So the whole point of the struggle is to get out of the struggle.
Yeah.
You don't struggle to struggle more. Unless you do. Like,
yeah.
am I missing something? Like, yeah. But to be fair, a lot of it does come from like just the general, like kids love that. Kids love stories, and if it's a story behind the music, like this rapper's beefing with this rapper, or things like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's from this area, so he's this. This is how he is.
Yeah.
It's sort of I mean, it's driven us in a very positive way as well as a negative way, but it's just you can't get the best of both worlds sometimes. You can't be seen as a very like humble person, humble in the sense where it's like you're in a I guess in an easier word, like respectful person and be from Western Sydney, because it's like it's either you're like, you look at the Penrith Panthers, for example. It's like they can't, when they're celebrating their wins and stuff, they're seen as cocky, and it's not always just because they're winners, but some people like to put it on the fact that it's like Western Sydney.
Yeah.
And then same thing with the rappers and stuff. Like,
it's because the media plays into it, bro. So back in the day, my brother used to be part of the RBB. The RBB were the first to bring like European football culture to so active support, right?
Yep.
Flares in Europe, par for the course, except for England. They don't do like the pyrotechnics, or the UK, but the rest of Europe does, and they love it, right? And Wanderers brought that because they had, I could be so wrong, forgive me, but they had Eastern European boys in charge. So they had like a Croatian boy, a Polish boy, that were from like those clubs that lived here for work, but they were like, fuck, like let's do it, right? So they'd set off flares and whatnot, but then it got to the point where there was a brawl or two with Melbourne Victory. Rebecca Wilson, she's dead now, but she came out and posted an article that she hated football because both her brothers worked in like AFL and NRL.
Okay.
And at the time, football was a massive threat to like NRL right now is killing it because of Volandis. He came in and changed the game. Back then, bro, like you can remember like NRL in like 2012 to like 2019 wasn't that good.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a nice era to be in. Same with AFL. I grew up playing AFL. It's the same thing. It wasn't like the best era at all. Like the early 2000s was their thing. Soccer took over there in that aspect. And so she saw it as a threat, but she held such a high position in mainstream media. So she was on Sunrise. She was in I'm pretty sure the Herald as like the back page writer.
Yeah.
And she posted this thing of all these people's faces that set off flares or were in the brawl. And a lot of them were minors. And like she would just fucking drill this rhetoric of how fucked up Western Sydney people were because she saw this small group. Like they were the best thing to happen to Australian football. They revived it, but at the same time they got into a few brawls. Par for the course, lots of young men in a synergy of fucking adrenaline rush. Like it's going to happen. And bro, she used to shove it down people's throats on the back page of one of the main papers, and they just play into it. Same with Penrith, man. Same with Penrith. It's so like driven. It's like such an easy title, like Jerome Luai, for example. It's like he plays into it. He's smart. He knows what he's doing marketing wise because he's worth so much, right?
Yeah.
Like, and like if you're a brand and you're going to pay him, you got to pay him a lot more than most other players because the amount of eyes and attention he has at every single thing he posts.
Yeah.
But yeah, the same thing, right? It's just Panthers, like they're cocky. Like fuck, as if you wouldn't be cocky if you won. Fuck, you're going for a 3-peat and most of your team's under 25. You know what I mean? And then, but the media just shoves that narrative continually down the throat. So then other people have that, and then it becomes an us against the world rhetoric out of Western Sydney.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. It's you're sort of cornered into that
mindset,
not mindset. You're cornered into that that stature and that that mindset. You're cornered into it. It's like you're made to believe that that's what you're like.
Yeah. 100%. And bro, I'm from the Blue Mountains, and even I went to one of my best mates' gigs. Shout out Jerb. It was at Flinders.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I was out the back, and I got in my car, dead sober, driving, and I can't even remember what I was listening to. Chief, if you're listening, you'll remember. And I had my window down. I hadn't even looked at them, and they just go fucking Westies, and I was like, oh my god. I wasn't wearing like anything Panthers or anything like that could give away I was a Westie. They probably heard me talking, and then but bro, they were just like eastern suburbs kids, obviously.
Oh, okay.
And then, but like that was my first time I'd like experienced like, oh my god, like you actually like don't like me from where I'm from. You know what I mean? It was pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy to hear. So no wonder some people play into it. But yeah, I think that's what the biggest influence it has on creativity is like that. Back to the main point, it's like that synergy of people achieving, and then you're constantly seeing like, oh, that's the new level.
Yeah.
How do I get to that? And people all over are just hitting new goals left, right, and center. And raising tide, raises all ships. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think that's what's going on there. But it's been pretty cool to be like even just watch from afar, be a part of. Like for yourself, you've been in the mix of it, hey?
Yeah, I'm grateful that like I can be considered into the mix of it. I don't always think of it like that though, because I'm also watching from an audience standpoint as well. I'm like, wow, they're doing so good.
Yeah.
But no, I'm grateful that people sometimes include me in the mix. It's cool. It's cool. A lot of these guys I've like that are doing so well. I've grown up with and I've seen before they've turned into like the public success that they are.
Yeah.
So I'm also very proud seeing these people go like do what they do. But yeah, it's nice being thrown into the mix every now and then.
Yeah. The other thing that's crazy about our gen, bro, like what I'm born in 2000.
I'm born in 2002.
Yeah. So seeing boys our age, but not for me because I grew up in the mountains, but still like critters our age, right?
Yeah.
We didn't really grow up with this movement. So all the boys around us are at the forefront of something that's never been seen before, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like with New York, even with ASAP Crew coming through, they could have lent on other people who did it in the 90s.
Yeah.
When they were coming up, you know what I mean? Because they were the face of it. But like these boys don't have that because it's never really been seen.
Yeah.
Like anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
For that fact.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a pretty crazy time to be alive. I feel like we forget that sometimes.
Yeah. No, it's pretty. Yeah. It's cool. But like I had people that I looked up to that, you know, people that weren't like well known, like. These guys, it's not that I looked up to them all that much, but like I was a big fan of them, and I like when I heard that they like some of them went to Paddy's and stuff, I was like, oh, mad. It was Fortunate, so 7-0 like back when it was in Fortunate, and like I think that was my first glimpse of like hearing that a group that was televised because they were on either X Factor, I think it was X Factor.
X Factor, yeah.
And then knowing that they're from Western Sydney, I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I guess there's not really there's no depth in that. Like you said, the comparison of New York that they had.
Yeah.
Their pioneers were in like way back. Ours are like sort of now and maybe like 10 years ago. Yeah.
It's crazy, bro. My first time. Do you know Fundamentals?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're like, I was 13 or 14 when I because they're from Katoomba, I'm from Springwood, Wimerlee. Shout out Wimerlee. And yeah, bro, they were the first time I looked at people from the mountains. I was like, oh, you can do it. And then before that, like even though Paddy Cummins and Jess Fox were like from the mountains, but like they weren't really as well. Like they more Penrith, like in the newspapers, they said, oh, Penrith Emu Plains.
Yeah.
But Tom Eisenhuth, who plays for Storm now, he was another one. He came through my sister's grade at St. Columbus. And then the guy who created Blinky Bill. Yeah. So that was like my first time of seeing like, oh, you can do it. Like from the Blue Mountains, you can have a crack and be really successful. There was another one. Oh, Nudie Juice.
What's that? That sounds familiar.
Yeah, you'd know it if you saw the label. It's like this juice you'll find at like Coles or Woolies, any given spot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's not crazily popular, but it's in those supermarkets.
It's in Woolies. So,
yeah. But yeah, he grew up in Wimerlee for a part of his life. So that was like another aspect of like, oh, you can do it.
Yeah.
You just got to, it helps seeing it. But like I hadn't seen what I want to do. I haven't seen come from the mountains, but I have seen come from Western Sydney. And they're only a few years older than me. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, it's such a different era. It's the same. It's crazy you mentioned 7-0. Like
that was a weird one because I think he graduated by the time I got to high school.
Yeah.
And so like I obviously didn't get to see him, but his little brother was in my grade. And so like that was like the way I sort of made my connection to that. Yeah. It's like, you know, as a kid, like you sort of want to be relevant in a sense. So I was like, oh, I know their brother, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like like any sort of I was 12, 13 at the time. So it's like you sort of like you'd like that that relevance. And then you get older and you cringe at the fact that you were like that. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I was like that. But you know, it's also so good seeing him do music still. 7-0. Yeah. Because I know he's been at it for a while now. And it's like it just keeps going. Yeah. And yeah, those are I feel like we wouldn't really be where we are now, like the current artists, the artists specifically. I don't think we'd be where we are if it wasn't for the people that were driving it beforehand. You know, so yeah, shout out to anyone that like was looked up to during that time. Lazy J and Big Guy, like that was a big one as well. Yeah. The whole Question Crew channel, are you familiar with that? No. That's where Lazy J and Big Guy were like sort of became popular as well. That was just like a YouTube channel, and they did covers and stuff. And then that was big for like the Islander community as well back then. And so I used to fangirl over like if I ever saw them in public. I just think they were famous, like you know. But yeah, so shout out to anyone that sort of was doing music or is still doing music, but was doing it back then.
Yeah, being Samoan, is it crazy for you to see Samoan culture really take on, like, really kill it in hip hop over the past few years?
Yeah, it's cool. It's mad. It's mad that a lot of these guys are Samoan. Like,
or even like, was it Victor J. Sefo did 685? That's such a bomb.
Yeah, he did a banger before. He's a lot of bangers actually. Like he did a song called Wifey. That was like his first time, like one of his first songs that for me that I can recall, I really took off.
Yeah.
But 685, yeah, that was a banger, and in the right time too. Like I think
the parades.
I think it was for that. I could be wrong, but that's what I thought. I think it's for. But such a good time, and yeah, that set off. Everyone loves driving to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Victor J. Sefo. But yeah, even the rappers that are going around, like even if they're not representing, like I know these guys are Samoan, so like I know that, you know, deep down. But yeah, Victor J. Sefo.
Well, you linked with Lisi.
Yeah, he represents hard too.
Yeah, bro, that video is cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like, I feel like everyone I'm thinking of is Samoan, so I'm trying to think of someone that's not. But yeah, Lisi, he's a very good representation of Samoan hip hop. Not Samoan hip hop. Sorry, Lisi. Samoan in hip hop.
Yeah. Because America even has its place for it. It's like I'm pretty sure Booyah Tribe.
Yeah.
I could be so wrong. I'm so sorry if I got that wrong. But I'm pretty sure that a few of those boys were parts of Ireland.
Yeah, there was someone. There's an artist called Young Go, in America too. He's got some cool stuff as well. But yeah, it's been represented hard, and you can see that in sport too. Like over the last few years, like it's I mean this in them, like with no disrespect, but it's almost become a trend. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Again, I mean that in a really good way. I don't mean that in a like our culture is something to be played with. I just mean it in like people are taking notice of it a lot.
People embrace it, bro.
Yeah.
It's kind of what you want.
Yeah.
You want people to like hop on board and be like, I want to try your food. I want to know what you guys traditionally drink. I want to see like your dances. I want to see like your family culture comes across so strong, right?
Yeah.
And like that sense of community is something I've noticed, like from Chris being here from FTA. Yeah. It's like there's such a strong knit community they form together and like all that stuff. But yeah, it's definitely come to limelight. I think the parades, bro, they put Samoa on like this level of like, holy fuck, like look how proud these people are of where they're from, where their parents come from, where their grandparents come from, you know?
Yeah.
They were crazy, bro. Did you get involved with them?
The parades, I wasn't here. I was in Darwin for the was it in Penrith or Mount Druitt?
Rudy Hill.
I wasn't Rudy Hill.
Yeah, and then New Zealand, or maybe Auckland or Wellington had one, and then
probably both.
Yeah, Brisbane had one.
Brisbane had one, yeah.
Fucking in LA, I'm pretty sure there was one. Oswald Chris were talking to me about it, and then I'm pretty sure in London at the time they had one because there's a population over there. You know Meeks? Can't Stop, Won't Stop.
Yeah.
He's either Kiwi or Samoan, eh?
I don't know. I don't want to comment just because.
No, because he's anonymous. He's anonymous. But there's something that came out about his identity. And then he's dropped a bar before that made me. And yeah, I'm pretty sure he's either one or the other. It'd be really cool. Like, I don't think he'll ever reveal his identity. But yeah, that was like something where I was like, I didn't realize like the population was in the UK was as strong. I didn't realize.
I actually didn't until like maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember what it was. I think someone was. I saw a TikTok.
Yeah.
And like they were saying like it was just a nightclub and it was all like islanders around, and I was like, wow, like. But that's what the Samoans and islanders in America probably think of Australia. Like they're probably like, are there even any islanders there? You know what I mean? Like,
because big population like West Coast over there. Hey.
Yeah, I'm not too sure where. Honestly, like probably should pay a bit more attention to where, but I know that's a really high population. Yeah. Like more than, I think it's something like more than
Actual Samoan.
Or everywhere is probably more than that. Like I think it's more than New Zealand as well.
Yeah, wow.
That's because they have a high population in the US just in general. So it's likely.
It's like Italy, bro. I'm pretty sure Australia and Argentina have more Italians than Italy now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Than Italy? What's the population? Do you know the population?
It wouldn't be crazy, right? But yeah, Argentina has heaps. That's where most of my family down the line ends up.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, Argentina has heaps. And yeah, Australia has heaps. Like Malta. Malta's like, for its Maltese population is like third or fourth. Crazy, eh?
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about it like that.
It's probably likely for a lot of countries. Now that I think of it,
Well,
like
the Pacific Islands for sure.
100%.
Countries like Malta and the Pacific Islands, where it's like you're lucky to have a few million people there, and then yeah, by the time you have 3 generations of kids, 3 to 6 kids in each family, and then that just develops, and all of a sudden, bro, you got this massive population.
Yeah, it's another country.
Yeah, yeah. So the Samoan hip hop has been taken off. We mentioned Lisi.
Yep.
Was it 2020 or was it? 20?
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, 2020. You step into this like shout out DJ Khaled, almost like a public producer role.
Yep.
In terms of like you put your face to the actual song as DJ Discretion, as well as producing it. Smart move. And you come out with "Look at Me Now."
Yep.
Shelly and Lisi, great features. I personally think.
What year are we in?
2023.
Okay. Look at Me Now is 2021.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Lifestyle was my first song.
With Lips and Hefs.
Yeah.
And that was
2020.
Yeah, just before COVID hit, eh?
Right before COVID.
Bro, I remember that.
Because that was the last time I had short hair.
Yeah, sick. Yeah, I remember you because you used to wear hats, eh?
I used to. I said this today to my mate. I was like, I either go through a phase where I'm always wearing hats or I'm not wearing hats, and it's just on and off. Like
Yeah.
I'm in my non-hat phase right now, but that's because it doesn't fit on my head anymore with his hair.
Yeah, bro, I remember that because I remember going into lockdown and then, yeah, seeing it come out, and that was that's a sick song. I still got that in my summer.
Thanks.
Yeah, bro, it's such a summer song, eh? Like it's just so Lips on it is perfect, man. Like the way he flows on that, and then Hefs comes in with that. It's always nice when you just get that rapper feature that kind of like brings it back a bit. You know what I mean?
Especially in such a melodic song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's needed. Yeah.
Yeah, it changes it up, breaks the flow up a bit, which you kind of want to keep the attention. But yeah, with the Look at Me Now, that did really well in terms of like, on ground level. I feel like that was such a hit. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people love that.
Yeah.
And you've also released, what was the other one? Higher.
Yeah.
In terms of like actually producing these songs, when you're producing it, are you doing beat first, or are you saying, all right, I want Lisi and Shelly on a track, let me produce a beat for that? Or are you going beat first and then you go, I think Lisi and Shelly would suit this?
The first 2 were beat first.
Yeah.
And then ideas later. Like that first, like Lifestyle, I never even planned to make that a song. I was just producing a beat, and then Loki was like, yeah, that's your first single. And I was like, okay, cool. And then Lips jumped on that. Then Hefs jumped on it. Like they did their thing. And then it just sort of, it slowly became a song. Like, it quickly became a song. Look at Me Now, very similar, but I made that beat with intention of having it as my next single.
Yeah.
Sorry. It was one of like many beats I made with an intention of one of these is my next single.
Yeah.
And then once it was made and we sort of confirmed that was the beat, then we said like, then I was like, I'd love to get Lisi on it. And actually, no, I did say Lisi and Shelly at the same time. I was like, yeah, that'd be a cool match. Like, I don't think they've done a song together.
Bro, they are, I mentioned this to you about gigs before.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Shelly and Lisi can sit on particular beats so perfectly. And that beat itself allowed like Shelly, because Shelly's got that like a distinct flow to him. And he's got an accent to him that's hard to like pinpoint. And so when he hops on, you're like, oh, fuck, that's Shelly.
Yeah.
And then Lissi's the same, where Lisi, when he hops on a beat, fuck, you know it's Lisi, but also he's got such a diverse range.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can have him as the, the melody or like the chorus, so to speak, or whatever. but you can also have him as like the feature.
Yeah.
But it was sick to see him lay the groundwork for Shelley to come in and drop like that verse. You know what I mean? It was a perfectly done song. I fucking love it.
Thank you. Yeah, that was sort of the goal, was to have to have that contrast. I probably don't want to get into more musical terms, but yeah, they
get
just
into it, man. Dive deep.
Yeah, Lisy's got that very like not very low, but that low rubble voice. And I also needed something with a bit more of a like an eerier sound, with a very Aussie flow.
Yeah.
And that's Shelley, like, and it worked. It worked it worked. It actually worked better than I thought it would. I expected it to be good, but it was better than that. And I'm very happy with that song as well.
Do you think the idea for the contrast of the two artists, even though they're in a similar group of artists, but they're pretty different, do you think that comes from the same thing as like the Lips and Hefs collaboration?
In a sense of
like the contrast of their sound?
Yeah, but contrasting in a different way. Because music doesn't have to just be contrast to be interesting. Like,
yeah, for sure.
That's just, I guess, one of the easiest ways to explain why it's interesting. Like when Lisi raps, he's on a roll. He sounds like he's on a roll. It's like it's as if like once he starts, he can't stop. And you sort of don't want it to stop either. And Shelley's sort of like Shelley is sort of like it's like the cool guy in the song, and it's just like the gangster sort of one. Like
100.
I'm trying to really make it so it's like I'm trying to put it so it's just sort of easier to grab onto. It's easier to understand. But yeah, like Shelley was more like it was like the flavor of it, and Lisi was really the one that really drove it through. Like it made it catchy. It worked well. It worked well. Sometimes I don't really listen to my own music once it's released.
Yeah.
Even my remixes, like I don't really listen to it once it's released.
Because you've heard it so many times already?
Yeah. And then when I go back to it, I'm so proud of it. Like, except with Higher, I was non-stop listening to Higher once it was released as well. And then I sort of faded off, and now I'm sort of back into listening to it again.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking like most of my songs do have that sort of like black and white to it. You know, Billymaree and JKING, very different styles, like very different. You know, one's very sort of like island reggae almost, and then one's very contemporary soulful R&B, and having that on an Afrobeat song, an Afrobeat instrumental, was just the perfect middle.
Yeah.
Like sort of making Billymaree sort of like pick up the flow for one song, and allowing JKING to sort of simplify what he does. And I think that's why I actually think High is my most popular song, especially in the time frame. I think it's done more streams in a shorter amount of time. But yeah, I think most of my songs are like that though. Trying to find different pockets for different artists to sit in, but still have it sounding like, still have it sounding in unity.
Yeah.
Which I guess is the purpose for every song. You don't necessarily want a song to sound too different from, you know, the first minute to the second.
Yeah, 100.
But yeah, I'm very proud of my songs. I am very proud of my songs that I've done.
Yeah.
It's an interesting process.
Yeah, I can imagine, bro. I can only imagine. With like we've just mentioned, you've name dropped 6 artists that are on your songs there in total. Do you think you could ever fulfill? Shout out to him. Shout out to Rugby. Shout out to the Ocean. Shout out DJ Khaled. Do you ever think you could fulfill that? Because there's a gap for it in Australia, where it's people listening, an executive producer who brings other producers in, brings artists. Then the album goes under him because he's the one who puts in all the work and connections. Do you think you could do a DJ Khaled become a DJ Khaled like figure, or Pharrell, who's a bit more anonymous about that?
Yeah.
Do you think you could do that?
Yeah, I just don't like to label it as that, only because I'm not trying to be somebody else and
Yeah,
try
for
and
sure.
follow in the exact footsteps that someone else did, but that just seems to be what it is, and it doesn't. Sorry, bro. Doesn't help that my stage name is also DJ. Like,
Yeah.
I guess it makes it look like I'm trying to replicate that, but it's just my passion for music is quite similar. So, doing that, I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult just because our scene is such a baby. In a way of like we're still growing, not like we're not sooks, but like it's so, like our scene is very baby. We're very young. We're a very young scene, still growing, still trying to find our sound. We haven't found our sound. We're a blend of all sounds. Like that's what Australia is. That's what our country always has been, just in general anyway. We're just a blend of other things, which is what makes Australia, which is good.
Yeah.
But in the music scene, we have that too. So trying to do that and grow with the artist rather than just grabbing on established artists, it's going to be the more difficult part to make my music, my original music, expand globally.
Yeah.
I guess the only way I can sort of do that is by in a similar, like I said, like using a blend of sounds that sound similar to international music, but not in a way where we're copying it. Like, but again, we're still finding our ground. Like here, like in the music scene, it's still young, still fresh.
We still got a lot of police pressure as well.
That's true. Live shows are very difficult.
Yeah, live music's like where fans can connect.
Yeah.
Big time. Like you don't forget live events. Like, and unfortunately, a lot of the boys are struggling to have them. And even if they are, they can only really do what, like Darwin, Adelaide, like Brisbane. You know what I mean? Like New South Wales.
Yeah.
New South Wales Police. Yeah, I shouldn't bunch the police together, but yeah, New South Wales Police is pretty strict on it, and that's where most of the boys are from.
Yeah.
So it's kind of restricting that, like, ability for them to play with their fans. So it kind of delays the growth, which will happen eventually. But with the coloured thing, the thing he does well is like, I forget what the album's called. That's a shocker. But like he has that Do You Mind song. Then he has like a fair few other party songs on it. But he also has Jermaine's Interlude, which is J. Cole's.
Yep.
J. Cole pours his heart out in that song. That album itself is actually quite a good collection of songs. I feel like you could do that, and you do have the capability to do something similar. Of getting a bunch of artists together and letting them go into their own avenue in which way they see suit. You know what I mean? I think there is space for it at this point in time. It'd be cool to see it come together.
Yeah.
To see what it actually sounds like.
Yeah. I think we have enough right now for me to be able to do that. But yeah, I think I just need a bit more time for that. It's especially with the diverse sound, the depth that DJ Khaled has in his music. But again, US scene is like the leading music scene, so like he's able to do that.
Yeah.
He's able to reach out to all these artists that cover a whole variety of emotion in music. So he can do those sort of like you said, Jermaine's Interlude, and then Do You Mind, and then that song he did
Wild Thoughts.
Wild Thoughts as well. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, songs like that. Like that. Like he has variety, and I would love to do that. Like I think, especially because I do listen to a lot of contemporary sort of R&B soulful stuff as well. I'd love to have that in my own collection. But I sort of think we don't, like our audience isn't really ready for that.
Yeah.
For the appreciation, at least, that artists probably want for that sort of music. You can still release it, like don't get me wrong, but our audience isn't ready for that yet. They want what's hype and what's
Still in that
what's
stage.
selling stories too. Like that's why whenever there is beef, like that's when music's like really like at its game here in Australia, because it's just there's substance to it. Yeah. But I don't have much substance to me. Sorry, guys. I don't have many stories going on in my life that can feed. You're not going to see me beefing with anyone.
You don't have to, bro. Music doesn't have to come from like this deep philosophical fucking storyline. You can just make music for the sake of making music, and people will love it regardless.
100%. Like I always thought to myself, like, man, I'm very uninteresting in the sense of my history because I haven't gone through so like traumatic experiences. I didn't come from any form of a broken home. I'm from Blacktown, I'm from Western Sydney, but I wasn't raised in I we didn't, as far as I knew, and as far as my sibling and I knew, like we didn't grow up with financial struggle.
Yeah.
Like if my parents did, like good on them, they hit it, which is
Yeah.
But as far as I'm concerned, yeah, there was no struggle in that sense. So like, I don't have that. I don't have that background that you see your top rappers and top people going through, which I feel like sometimes makes it seem like I'm an uninteresting person when like I'm a very interesting person. I feel I just don't have much story behind me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's a
I'd say you have a lot of story behind you, bro.
it's an obstacle on its own. In my perspective of having no story, that's an obstacle on its own. It's like trying to make some music with no substance, like with no evident substance to it.
Yeah.
Just making the music do its own thing, making the music for the music. If in all honesty, you listen to my 3 songs and there's no real story behind it. Like look at me now. I'm not literally saying to people like, look at me now. It was just it was a fun idea it was a fun topic for us to go through.
Yeah.
Like, look at me now. Like, we have progressed in the music and stuff, like Shelly, Lisi, and myself. But it's not actually how I feel. I'm not saying like the haters, look at me now.
Yeah.
Higher was just, it's just your typical sort of like romance dance song.
Yeah.
And Lifestyle was just lifestyle. Like I let YL and Hefs talk about their lifestyle, not my lifestyle. Let them talk about their own. Like I gave them that platform that they didn't even need. Like so, again, I'm lucky that I have these people because I think I also do my best work when it's with production when I'm collaborating with people.
Yeah. You reckon?
In the sense that I wouldn't be able to release anything on my own.
Right. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like
Yeah.
Like I do songwriting and sometimes I do demo stuff where like I'm singing on it and like some people say to release it, but it's not me.
Yeah.
It's not me. I can't see myself releasing my own stuff where I'm singing or I don't think I'd rap. I don't think I've never heard myself rap like on a song, so I don't think anyone's ever going to see that.
Yeah.
But like I'm very appreciative of all the artists that I am connected to in the scene because without them I wouldn't be able to showcase this side of these abilities that I have in music production. Conducting a song, for example, I feel like I'm really good at that.
Yeah.
And I've only been able to showcase it 3 times. My 3 songs.
Yeah, but you look at Pharrell. Pharrell is an interesting one because he doesn't have like the his fuck. How would you put it? Pharrell's branding in music isn't like a what do you call like a producer tag? Oh, producer tag.
Yeah,
he doesn't have one, but he has that like what's it called at the start?
The 4 count at the beginning.
Yes. Yeah.
4 count intro. Yeah.
But also like Pharrell clearly understands music to the point where he just creates stuff and like he knows what's gonna hit. Like Happy, he knew. Like you can tell, like he knows what he's doing there. But also like with the other stuff he's created, that clearly comes from a space of him understanding what he's doing. There's no reason to say that you in due time because we forget how fucking old that guy is as well. And like Happy was released like less than 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like also all the other music he's done over the years. Who's to say like you don't end up in a similar space where you understand the music to a point where you know what you want to create and you know how to create it. Quite literally nothing's stopping you but your own perceptions.
Yeah, that's my issue when it comes to producing. Like I don't scale. Not that I scale producers, but I don't rank myself high at all. When it comes to producing, understanding of music, I'd like to I can dissect a song to a T. Like I'm very good at that. I'm very good at understanding music, because I'm very in tune with what I like, and that makes me. That's why I'm able to do things like dissect music, and that comes from a history of playing around with music for so long and being in touch with a lot of like areas of music, whether it's learning the guitar, listening to songs like on repeat for DJing purposes. But my issue is implementing that, into a, like, I struggle making instrumentals sometimes. Like I listen to it, I'm like, this sucks, and I'll just delete it. Like I just can't.
Right.
But then I'll make one, and I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever heard. And then there's just this wave of like, wow, I'm so good, and I suck, man. And then up and down again. And then I look at these other producers, and I'm like, wow, you guys are so good at what you do.
Yeah, but they also got a decade plus on you for the most part.
Yeah.
So do you not think that they would have gone through the same thing?
No, definitely. I'm not saying that my emotions are very unique. I'm saying that that's where I am right now.
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't. I think the only thing I can compare it to is my what do you call my path as a DJ over a producer is that I was better as a DJ. I was better as a young DJ than I was as a young producer. I was more naturally driven to mixing music and performing music in front of people. Like, whereas making it on my own, like making music on my own, it wasn't as natural to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just where I am right now. I'm like, that's just my struggle right now.
Yeah.
But I'll get through it.
Yeah. It comes with the creativity, eh?
Yeah, of course. It doesn't matter what field you enter. You're gonna go through your speed bumps and
Yeah, big time.
yeah.
Yeah, bro. Producing, my mate Flat does it. Like, he does it pretty well. Young Cam, like, sometimes he just produces stuff and he sends it to me. I just feel like, fuck, like that. I don't even know how he come up with that. If I was producing, I would think I would start with sampling for the most part, just to kind of get me in a direction. That's how I see it. Is I would do sampling, and then eventually I'd go into my own space because I listen to like a lot of West Side Gun, and his beats. Is it Madlib? Maybe it's fuck. Someone's gonna shoot me for this. Madlib, I'm pretty sure is the producer, and yeah, some of the stuff he produces, I'm like, I don't know where you got this sample from, but oh my god, like, yeah, that's the other thing I noticed about producers. And it's something I noticed with Solo, Willstar, and even like the boys who produce their own music. The range of music they listen to is crazy because they pull samples out of shit you would never even imagine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? F and Z do that quite well actually as well. Boys from Perth. Now the DJing, the mixers. I got so many questions about the mixers. So the mixers do crazy numbers, bro. And my question is like the mixers, do you see them as like to make money online, or do you see them as a way to portray yourself as a DJ and then people come to you for DJing?
That one.
Yeah, okay.
That's not why I do it though. That's not why I do it, but that's sometimes how I see it in terms of if I'm ever like lacking in motivation to do it.
Yeah.
If I ever hit those roadblocks, I'm like, yeah, well, this is part of my business. Like this is the front of the business. People see this stuff and they want to book me for events and whatever.
Yeah. So
sorry
to interrupt, bro. But like, yeah, so I was wondering because like your mixes, bro, you do crazy numbers, but then in the back of my head, I'm like, of course, the money would be there online, but also copyright would fucking hit you sometimes. I imagine.
Yeah.
But like, also, you've probably got the best marketing I've ever seen for a DJ for events. Like when you have those type of numbers behind you. But also, this is the other thing I'm thinking. I'm like, if I was having a wedding, I don't have a girlfriend, nowhere near it, right? I will book you, but long time away, bro. But when that time comes, I can go into your YouTube with my missus and be like, look at this, look at this, look at this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's what you do so well, bro. Like that, and it's a message for all other DJs out there as well. It's like, put your shit online so people booking you for whatever event it may be. Because I'd imagine you do a range of events, right?
Yeah.
They can go on there and be like, fucking love this sound. I'll just ask him if he can go in that direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you've done that so well, bro. I think it's
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You've nailed that. And I was looking on your YouTube page because I listened back like in like I'd say 2019, 2020. I would put like your YouTube on while I was like doing like I went through uni, and yeah, I'd put like your YouTube on and have like it just play through.
Oh yeah.
And bro, you'd be listening, you're like, oh, what the fuck was that one? You know what I mean? And then you go back and you play it back again. And
Yeah.
some of the stuff you play like get played at parties and whatnot. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the DJing, bro, like when was your first event and how did you feel first setting up your decks? Like, were you nervous as?
No, not that I can recall. I was 11 and it was an 18th birthday. So
That's nuts.
it wasn't when I was established.
Yeah.
So it was just that, like, I happened to know the people who knew the people.
Yeah.
It was 18th birthday, and I didn't realize how weird that was until I turned 18, and I was like, man, imagine an 11-year-old just in that corner, just DJing like right now. But no, I don't think I was nervous. I don't really get nervous anymore, at least. So I can't recall me being nervous then.
Bro, of course you can't. You're 11. Fuck.
Yeah,
That's
like,
crazy, bro.
Yeah, like yeah, I don't think I was nervous. Like I was 11. You know what I mean? Like I didn't do my first club till I was 15.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty young.
Talk
That's
about that
pretty young.
one. Like, so how does that opportunity arise at the age of 15?
That's when. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 15 turning 16. So that was when I was doing those remixes,
Yeah.
and they were doing pretty well. And a club in Melbourne hit me up, Mad City, and they said like, we want to book you for our club, like in Melbourne. We'll fly you down, put you in a hotel, blah, 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 and then obviously pay on top. And I was like, oh, I'm only 15. Like I don't know if you're aware, like I'm only 15, so I'm not sure if I'll be allowed in the club. They're like, no, you just have to bring a parent. Like you bring a parent with you. So my dad came, and
That's so fucking awesome.
it was cool. Yeah, it was so cool. Like we flew down, stayed at a hotel, and I performed, and yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. It was a cool first experience. Like I think so I headlined that. So my first ever club appearance, I was headlining, and most of the club appearances that I do I am headlining, with the exception of occasionally MVP when I'm sometimes I used to be there like maybe every week for like maybe a month.
Yeah.
But usually I'm headlining, like, and that's just because I started so early that I was able to achieve a status at a younger age, that allowed me to get those sort of gigs, the headliners, and yeah, so I didn't realize how special it was to headline, sort of until later in my career when I started seeing people that were like that really wanted to headline, and it sort of made me great. It sort of I felt bad because I was like I wasn't as grateful back then to be headline. I was grateful to be in a nightclub and stuff, but I wasn't grateful for the fact that I was a headliner, because I didn't realize that was a factor I had to take into account. That is a part of a nightclub scene that DJs are working for, headlining. But nonetheless, I was still very proud of myself for being able to get to that point, and I was still very excited as a young kid. I was still in high school. Yeah, that was
Year 9.
Yes.
Year 9 or 10.
10.
Yeah.
I was.
What are you thinking, bro? Like when you're 15, you walk into a club. Like it's a bit of a different. A bit confronting, maybe.
It was confronting because I knew that I wasn't supposed to be there. If someone told me it was a private gig, my mind would have been like, oh yeah, everyone here's just an adult.
Yeah.
But the fact that I knew, like, I sort of like, I guess, wasn't supposed to be there. Like if I wasn't the DJ, I wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit confronting actually. Now that you say that, walking in, I was like, I'm pretty sure there was a pole there too, so which made me even more like, I was like, what am I going through? I think there was a pole, like no one was on it or anything, but the fact that it was just there, I was like, man, what? Like,
yeah, you would have only seen it in rap videos. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, what is going on? Like, but no, I was, yeah.
How many people was it in front of?
I don't know. I think it was just like a normal nightclub, a normal small to medium sized nightclub, full.
Yeah.
Like, so it wasn't empty, but it wasn't like there was a massive line outside or anything. Like there was a line, but it wasn't like huge.
Did people pick up your 15?
I don't know.
Like
maybe by glance.
Yeah.
Maybe I looked 15.
Bro, I'd be fascinated if like I was in a club and I saw a kid. I'd be like, holy fuck, there's a kid DJing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that would fascinate me, because I'd be like, you're living proof of it. I'd be like, this kid's a prodigy. For him to be in a club at the age of 15, like, you are that, right? Like the career you've gone on to have. But like, yeah, if I saw like a kid, because bro, when I was 15, what was I doing? I was riding a mountain bike every afternoon, pumping these 90-cent flavored mineral waters from Coles every afternoon, hot chips from Homer's, shout out to him, bro. And then you're on the same weekend I'm doing that, shout out Tom and Callum in Wimberley, same weekend, bro. You're doing club events. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was cool. It didn't really take anything away from my childhood though. Like I wasn't not doing anything like that 15-year-old. You know, like I was still playing sports. So
Yeah.
I guess the normal life of a teenager that plays sport, goes to school, plus the DJing on the weekends. That was it.
Did you ever work a job?
Never. My job's only been music full time once I finished school, but I've only ever done DJing.
That's crazy, bro.
Things. So I've never had to hand in a resume or anything like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I've never worked an official job. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Lived a good life then.
Yeah, I'm very grateful that I've been able to take what I do and what I love and make money with it too. Make money with it, yeah.
But you're also highly skilled. And that's the reason you're in the position you're in.
I put a lot of time into it, yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
From a young age, man.
From a young age, yeah, exactly. You know, I did it for fun. Sorry.
Do you think you end up in music if your dad doesn't have the DJ around?
No. I think I still would have had the ear for it.
Yeah.
Probably not the trained ear for it. I don't know. I probably would have tried to pursue rugby a bit more. Like that was my life was rugby and then music second. Like, probably would have tried that. Try to pursue rugby a bit more.
Yeah, crazy, eh? But when you were 9, your dad had that stuff flying around, and
yeah,
here's a career, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like butterfly effect. Like if you just take that one moment away, it's like that would have changed my entire life. 100%.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have had an interest to be like, oh, like can I try this on your laptop? And then that wouldn't happen at all.
Yeah,
and I think that's just the case with most people anyway.
Yeah, you hear it about a lot of the boys rapping. A lot of them never intended to be a rapper.
Yeah,
like I think a lot of people in about the Western City rappers, they think like a lot of these guys, bro. Who is it? HP, not YJ. On it.
Yep.
He, I'm pretty sure, tells the story of he used to rap at like drink ups, and then the boys got the shits that he wouldn't upload them online. Eventually, did they took off?
Oh,
I'm pretty sure it's HP on it that has that yarn.
Maybe because I've seen a video of him rapping when they had a drink up like in a park or something.
Yeah.
I've seen that video.
There's a lot of the boys are like that, right? Like there's those videos out there. They're deep in the archives now. Like you wouldn't be able to find them.
Yeah.
The boys have wiped them. But yeah, like in 2019, 2020, a lot of these blokes that are like really popular now, there was those videos. But yeah, there's a lot of the boys that are like, yeah, I never thought about even being, I didn't even think like, it never came across my head. I just rapped because I thought it's just something I did in my spare time. And then boom, bro. It's like Ola Kawatu in the rugby league. I'm pretty sure he used to drive because Manly have the Blacktown team, like workers.
Yeah.
So all the juniors are Blacktown boys. Obviously, they need to get driven out to Manly. Like there's no transport out there.
I still can't believe that. So I was shocked when I first heard that, like the Blacktown Manly team.
Yeah.
I was like, that's two different areas. Like that's a long trek for training and then for them to come to the game. It was like,
yeah.
Oh,
100%.
sorry, continue. Sorry.
But Manly's got no like, that stretch would have next to no rugby league talent. Minimum. So it's pretty smart. It's pretty like credit to him putting a team Blacktown, taking juniors away from para. But yeah, bro, Ola Kawatu, I'm pretty sure used to drive one of the boys to training because he had his P's. And then the coach of the Manly juniors was like, what's he doing in the car? Just bring him out to train. Came out to train, goes on to be one of like the hard hitters in the NRL.
That's
crazy that butterfly effect, eh?
Yeah.
Just that one moment. If that coach doesn't see Ola Kawatu like dropping his mate off or whatever and doesn't say anything, Ola Kawatu goes on to live a completely different life.
If he was busy that day, couldn't drive him. Like
yeah. It's crazy, man. Same for yourself. It's just like that one day you just ask your dad, "Oh, can it plug into a laptop?"
I found it in our shed as well.
Yeah,
so I was just like I was there with my dad and I saw it. It's bright orange thing and I was like, "Oh, can I try that?"
Yeah. Do you still have it?
Yeah, we do. Oh no, sorry, I gave it to my cousin in New Zealand, so it's probably broken. I have videos of me on it though. I think I posted it a while ago. It might not be on. It's probably archived now from my Instagram, but there's photos and videos of me using it
At the age of 9.
Yeah, there's actually some impressive footage with it. Like I was surprised that I wasn't surprised because I felt like I was naturally driven to like things like to DJing.
Yeah.
And there's like videos. I'm like, wow, like I was doing pretty good for a 9-year-old, like just practicing in the living room or whatever. And I was like, wow, that mix actually sounds good. Like,
Yeah.
not as good as like it sounds now because I've had the time to practice, obviously, as you do.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some good footage with that little orange mixer. Yeah,
What songs are you mixing, bro? Like LMFAO and shit?
bro. Yes, not strictly, but like if I was doing that sort
Like
of tempo,
Pitbull?
that was definitely in there. Most of my stuff was like similar music to what I do now.
Yeah.
More the hip hop than the R&B, like Chris Brown, Lil Jon, things like that. Like those sort of songs.
And Lil Jon, a funny one, bro. He just kind of yells and just works.
So good at it. So was Fat Man Scoop though. They're hype men.
Yeah. That's it, right? Hype man. Yeah, never really.
It's like
that.
hype men rappers. Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Brown had that era of like 2007, like that Kiss Kiss. That's what I like grew up on. Like that, even like T-Pain mentioning him before, like that, like album. What's it called? Exclusive, where he's
So
the blue background and he's standing in the front. It's kind of got like a eerie vibe to it. That album, bro, like, yeah. But when you mention like 2009 or like 2000, well, you being 9, so 2009, 2010, I'm just like thinking of like all the artists back then, bro. David Guetta used to have like those songs where he'd have like a few people on them. Where Them Girls At, I'm pretty sure would have been big back then. Yeah.
Flow Rider, yeah.
Flow Rider. That would have been one of the artists you're mixing, hey.
Yeah, definitely for like that sort of high tempo party stuff. Yeah, that 100%. But like again, like my thing has always been the sort of hip hop stuff. Like so, I was a bit not naive. What's the word? I was a bit arrogant to like. I sort of set myself. I was like, I don't like anything but R&B hip hop, which wasn't true. I was basically trying to say that I don't like house music.
Yeah.
So until I was until maybe I was about 17, 18, I was like, you know what? Like, I don't actually hate house music. I was just trying to let people know that, like, nah, I'm a R&B hip hop DJ. Because when people think of DJ, they think of house. And I was trying to make it clear that, like, no, I'm an R&B hip hop DJ. So, like, I used to tell people I don't like house music.
Yeah.
But really, I didn't mind it. Like,
Have you ever gone up on stage and not done hip hop R&B?
I did an Afrobeat festival. I don't know if that counts.
Yeah, sick. Where was that at?
In Brisbane. That was cool. I think I was the only non-African performance, and they booked me. And because I've done Afro, I think they knew. I'm pretty sure they knew that I wasn't of African background.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool. That was a cool festival too, seeing all other Afrobeat acts, like live performers, and I think there was a DJ on as well, but playing different stuff. And I was playing more of the mainstream Afrobeat stuff, so the stuff that I knew and most people do know.
Yeah.
But they loved it, which is cool.
Who would you say that is for people?
Like Burna Boy and stuff.
Yeah.
Davido.
Did you like his latest album?
Yes.
Very feature heavy. Came across like
RZA is on it.
J. Cole, Dave.
Yeah. That Jake
21 Savage.
But they released that one before the album came out too.
Yeah,
so.
what the fuck, dude? This is going to kill me.
RZA and Gizza.
Yeah.
I was expecting SZA just for fun, but no, that would have been cool. No, that was a good album. I listened to it like maybe last week.
Have you heard of Asake? Bro, I got to put you on.
Not the drink yet.
No, not Asahi. Asake, he's like this guy, bro. He's it's like Afrobeat, Afro swing, and he has this song called "What's Up, My G." It's one of my favorite. I have no idea what he's saying in half of it. Love it. Mm-hmm. It's like Italian rap. Listen to it all the time. I can understand, but I can't speak it. Like I can kind of understand what they're saying. They're saying some pretty vile shit. But
Italian, you just don't know.
Yeah. Oh well, Italian drill, bro. You can kind of tell like with the because you know when you learn like a language, you know, like growing up like around like you learn swear words, right? Like it's just
if you don't know the words, you know the swear words.
Yeah, for sure. It's just that's not exclusive to any area in the world. It's just kind of what happens like with kids. You want to know swear words in different languages. So yeah, with Italian drill, but with Afrobeats and Afro swing, when they're going into different languages, I have no idea what they're saying, bro. But like just the beat and the vibe that these songs give off, I absolutely adore. Burna Boy kills it. A guy called Coffee, yeah. Don't Read Signs is or I don't think it's actually called Don't Read Signs, but that's one of my favorite songs by him. But yeah, Burna Boy, bro, he's just like he's on top.
Yeah, Burna Boy's on top, and WizKid.
Yeah,
Burna Boy and WizKid, they're my two tops, and like they're obviously the top two like for Afrobeat.
Yeah.
Um,
Isn't it crazy how much it's taken off?
yeah,
It's good to see it get proper appreciation.
in recent times too, which is good. Like it's nice to see an updated version of like not an updated version, an updated and more recent example of a new scene growing. Like it's obviously not new, but it's like its growth is new.
Yeah.
And it's good for us to look at like Australian scene to look at that and be like, see, like it can new genres or new to the world it can still grow.
Yeah.
We sort of just got to find the rhythm of it.
Where do you think, fuck, how do I word this? Not being of Pacific Islander heritage. Pacific Islander communities seem to enjoy and love Afro swing and Afro beats. Where do you think that comes from?
Maybe from those genres like extended family, which is reggae.
Yeah.
Which bear similar components to like island reggae. Obviously it's island reggae, but even island music is in itself. Like islanders love reggae. Yeah. And anything attached to reggae, they're also gonna love.
Yeah. Because there's definitely, yeah, bro, you've worded it perfectly. There's definitely like similarities to other genres of music that have always been around that they've loved. But I was just like, I couldn't pinpoint the exact connection. But like they all love Burna Boy and like Wizkid and all that. And you're like, there's clearly a connection here. I just can't figure out where it comes from. But it's good to know where it comes from.
Yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
To be honest, it could just be a natural thing. Like, like that's just maybe the marketing of the African communities seems to resonate with the islander communities. Just
for sure.
Might be a psychological thing at this point. You never know.
Yeah.
But that's just my take on it.
It's cool to see. Yeah, it's cool to see because it comes across as a more pure genre to me personally. Like it's less. There's so much less bullshit involved.
It's more authentic.
Way more authentic, and a lot of songs seem to come from emotional and spiritual aspect rather than like I'm going to make a song with the pure intention of I think this will make the most money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's how I feel when I listen to it. I feel like it's like very pure, and that comes through a lot of the songs.
Yeah.
And a lot of people can attach themselves to that.
Yeah.
And it's good to see it get a lot of attention and mainstream. Yeah, a lot of mainstream attention and a lot of new people like myself, bro. I couldn't have. You know what I mean? Me at 15, if you tell me, oh, you'll be into Afro beat and Afro swing when you're like 23, I would tell you, oh, no, I don't think so. I don't see myself going that way. And all of a sudden, bro, I love it. I listen to it all the time. It's crazy how it happens, eh?
Yeah, especially as you get older, you're open to more things anyway.
Yeah.
As a teenager, you're sort of, you already think you know what's going on. And you hate when people tell you that too. You hate when people tell you like teenagers think they know everything because they're like, I do know everything.
Yeah. Then you get older.
And you're like, yeah, there's so much more to learn.
Yeah. What were your biggest learning curves as a teenager doing DJ gigs in clubs and shit? Like you were living a completely different life in a sense, right? Like, what were your biggest learning curves in like being a DJ on weekends, but also playing rugby and going back to high school on a Monday morning?
Learning curves. I mean, in its nature, like I had to learn to read the crowd regardless. If I didn't like what they wanted, I had to do it because I'm there as much as they wanted me. I'm there for them.
Yeah,
they're not here for me. Like it's a part. Especially private gigs. Like if I had to play hardstyle, which at that time I was like completely against. Now I have a better understanding of it and all types of music of why people like it. But then like I didn't want to hear it. So I used to like not roll my eyes literally, but like, I used to just not like when people would be like, can you play hardstyle? Can you play like this music? Nah, and I'm like, oh, far out. Yeah. But learning that I'm not the head of the party. I'm just really good at setting it, like setting the tone of the party. Learning curves for me is probably like DJing related. Probably is more technical, like cooperating with other DJs. I used to bring my mixer, it's like that big, to the clubs, and I didn't know how to connect to the actual to the stuff that was already there, to the equipment that was there, and I didn't know that was frowned upon with DJs. Like I didn't know that other DJs would not be happy that I've brought my own thing.
Yeah.
because it takes up room and things like that.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that by the time I turned before I turned 19, like I stopped out because I was like, I need to learn how to connect to their stuff because I don't want to like annoy these other guys that, you know. So that was probably, that's what came to mind when you said learning curve. Can't think of anything else like
what about business wise, bro? Because it'd be weird for you going like the perception of an hourly rate and all that. It's a bit different for you considering you never like when I was 15, I think I was on $11 an hour. You know what I mean? So like for you, business wise, you automatically go into like getting paid in a few hundred just for a night's work and whatnot.
Yeah.
What were some big like lessons from that? And like going about, obviously you'd up your rate as you go along.
Yep.
How have you found that and managing that?
I'm sort of at a stage now. Sorry, I'll go back to the first part of the question, but like, yeah, I think the learning curve of business would be like, yeah, setting the right prices and stuff, and
knowing your worth,
knowing my worth, but also in a sense where it's like I know my worth. I'm not worth that much. Like I'm worth a little bit less than that. Like, you know, like a lot of DJs like to just throw a really high price, take it or leave it. Working with people was one thing that I sort of wanted to get on top of early. You know, like that's why every gig was charged differently, because I set a price, but I wanted to work with it. I was like 15, again, I was 15, 16. So I was just trying to make it as frequent as possible, not regardless of how low they would pay, but like considering I do the same amount of hours in maybe the same venue the week before for like a certain amount, and then doing this one for like $200 less, maybe it's like it didn't matter to me as much. But I still do the same thing now, but because I'm in this weird middle position of like people overseas and interstate want me, but people locally also want me still, and they're still approaching me and giving them a higher fee, even though they're local and stuff. It's hard doing that.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, this is my full-time job, so I need to get paid too.
Yeah.
But I struggle with confrontation. So there's a really big chunk of my personality you should probably know about while I say this, is that I struggle with confrontation sometimes. So charging people that much, especially if I know them, I wouldn't charge, like I'd obviously give discounts and whatnot, but like if I know of them or if they're local, it's hard because I charged a certain amount previously, like years and years ago. Yeah. And now like I have, I'm on much higher demand now.
Yeah, but also, bro, you got more responsibilities.
Yeah, like, I got bills to pay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? But like, also, like you're also a fully grown adult now.
Yeah.
Like, and you've developed your skills over time. So it's only right you get paid more than what you're worth a few years ago.
Yeah, like they're paying for the experience that I have too.
Yeah, exactly right. Like you'd know how to read a room that well by now.
Yeah, second nature at this point.
And and how to set the vibe, set the tempo, all that good stuff. With international gigs or like even national, what are some crazy places you've been so far?
I haven't done any international. Just
yeah.
No, COVID hit when I was supposed to do one, and then I've got some lined up, but they're yet to come. Like they're booked, but they're just not yet. But I've been to every major city, every major city in Australia except for Hobart.
Do they have a club?
I don't think so. I think that's why I haven't been there yet.
Right.
So, yeah, Sydney.
Sorry to them if they do, man. I'll come down and suss it out.
Yeah, I think they do, but it's not R&B hip hop.
Yeah.
My partner's mum went and she said that she couldn't find an R&B club.
Yeah. So
there probably isn't any. Again, we could be wrong. So
yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Shout out Hobart.
Yeah, Hobart. Sorry. But yeah, I've been to every major city. Sydney. Yeah, Sydney, Perth. I've been to like rural areas as well, like Broome, if you consider that rural. But even I went to a city called Nullarbor, also known as Gove. It's in Northern Territory, but like it's like a 2-hour flight from Darwin. I think the population's like 3,000.
Sick, and you did a gig there.
Yeah, pulled 300 people in too. So 10% of the population were in there.
Oh, how was that? That's awesome.
It was cool. Like it also showed me how small the world is because there were some people from Sydney there.
From the mines.
Yeah,
But
they've been, they live there. Like they some of them have been living there for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it'd be like a FIFO gig they got up there.
Yeah. But because it's such a, it was the smallest place I've been to in terms of population. Yeah.
What was it like flying in? Like, what were you thinking?
Scary. I was in those planes. The planes with two. Yeah, man.
Oh, what are they called? Cessnas or whatever?
Yeah. But it's all right. The guy that booked me, he was in one of the planes that was actually 1 row, like 2 rows in the entire plane, which was a bit scarier for him. So I was lucky I got the bigger plane.
But I don't know. I struggle to hop in those things, I reckon.
Oh, yeah. It was tough because it was my first time doing that. And the airport's really small. There's only 2 gates in one room. Smaller than this warehouse.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even kidding. Like,
crazy,
as in including baggage and everything, smaller than this. It's
crazy to me.
It was scary going in because then you're like from the drive to the airport to the place where the club is.
Yeah.
It's like 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, wow.
And on your way, you see like dead buffaloes and stuff on the side.
Yeah.
And then there was one time I looked out the window of where I was staying, the motel or the hotel, and there was a crocodile just walking, like it was a citizen or something. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
What other animals? Kangaroos? Surely.
Not there. Like they probably are, but I didn't see any.
Yeah. Snakes?
Again, probably were, but I didn't see any. I think the only 2 I saw were like the ones that are sort of, interesting, are the dead buffaloes.
How big was a croc, you reckon? Is that your first time seeing a croc in the wild?
No. Oh, in the wild?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, it wasn't even in the wild. It was on the streets. Like,
Yeah.
it was going to BP and everything. Far out.
How big was it, bro?
Oh, not as big as other ones I've seen at like
zoos and all that.
zoos and stuff. Yeah, but still big.
Yeah. Yeah, but fuck that.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah.
It's one of those places you go and you're like, this is the other side of Australia. Like one of the other sides of Australia where you're like, it's very different. Obviously we're like,
in the populated side.
Yeah, exactly. And
such a big country.
They didn't like the only 2 things that made me feel like I was not in a way, like not in a bad way where I was in need of comfort, but like where I was like, oh well, like it's okay. like it sounds stupid, but like walking into like Woolworths, they had a Woolworths there, very small one.
Yeah.
But like just seeing that, I was like, oh, like cool, like I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's got a Woolworths and it was a BP too, and I was like, okay, cool, I can buy a water if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Like as stupid as that sounds, it's like it made me it made it feel, being inside these places made it feel not so rural.
And even like the word, don't take it too literally, but like foreign. Like even though it's Australia, of course, but like it is a foreign landscape. Like even though it's the same country, it's a completely different landscape, right?
Yeah.
Like so for you, it's like being a boy from Blacktown, a highly populated area, going out there, it's like holy fuck, like this is a different world, but it's still this country. But like wow, it's crazy to see how people live like in those areas. Hey, it's crazy like how small the towns are. Pulling in 10% of a population is nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, that was a cool little math equation for me that day, and I was like, wow, okay, so there's 300 people in here, and I know the population is 3,000. That's a lot of that's a lot for this place. Like,
was it an actual club? Like, what was it? What was the venue?
Sort of like a pub, like an outdoor. Have you been to Albion?
Yeah,
the outdoor area, sort of like that, like the outdoor area, not the inside. Sort of like that.
Yeah, man.
But less tables.
Yeah, what did they like in terms of the music you were playing?
More old school R&B hip hop, because in a place like that during that time, there was sort of like months behind music. You couldn't play like what's popping off right now, unless it was like actually no, full stop. You couldn't play what's popping right now. The only thing that's changed that is TikTok, everyone's on TikTok everywhere pretty much.
Yeah.
And so everyone's sort of up to date now with music. But then that was like 2019 when TikTok was sort of in its earlier stages.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really know like the new music.
Yeah, fuck. That's crazy. What other places have you played weird shows at, or like just different shows to what people would expect?
The shows are quite normal, but the places are not as known. Like, so Broome, Karratha, Port Hedland, and then where did I was somewhere else at the beginning of the year.
North?
Yeah, in Western Australia, up north in Western Australia there.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Karratha, Port
Bro,
Hedland.
what is
somewhere
that?
else.
That's got to be like 12 hours of travel. Because what, it's 5 hours to Perth. Oh, no, 12. What am I on about? But like 5 hours to Perth, get off the plane, and what, no, 2 or 3 hours up?
Yeah, 2.5 hours up. Yeah.
It's a big stint by the time you wait at Perth Airport as well. It's pretty crazy.
You know what I do sometimes? In the main city gigs where it's just the one flight.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't get a hotel and I just do my gig and then I wait around for my plane in the morning.
Smart. Do you
Yeah.
Still, do you still take the hotel fee?
It just depends, like because offers are different every time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
I've learned that with my mate Jerb. He does like,
yeah,
he gets paid to travel now,
yeah.
and he still works a 9 to 5, which is crazy. Shout out to you, Jerb. Love you.
All right, so good.
But yeah, he gets paid to obviously come up. He's down in Melbourne. He's a techno DJ, so
Okay, yeah,
by necessity, you want to be in Melbourne at this point. in
yeah,
time.
100%.
But yeah, he'll come up to Sid, and yeah, like he'll tell me. I'm obviously not gonna like say it on here, but like I kind of know what you're going on about because he'll tell me like the offers and like. But yeah, it's crazy. Like people offer completely different things sometimes. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's like in all transparency, yeah, every offer is just different. Like sometimes they're willing to pay for your stay, and sometimes they're willing to just pay you more so you can handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Less admin for them.
Yeah, like because sometimes they prefer to do it themselves because maybe they have connections, they get it for cheap or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they can sort of, do that and not have to fork out any extra money. Sometimes it's just that they're willing to do it or that they're not willing to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I just fly and fly back. Like,
What time would you fly down at? Like 5 or 6 p.m.
no, like later, like last flight there.
And like, so what? Like say like a 9 p.m. flight, and you get into Melbourne at like 10:30. Go straight from the airport to the club. Say you start at 12. Do 12 to 2, say. And then at 2 you leave the club, get a good kebab, get a bottle of water.
You're almost describing an actual situation, actual like.
This is how I would operate. At
Yeah,
least.
like kebab and everything. Like
Yeah.
you got it down to the T.
Which is the only place open. They're so smart, kebab
That's so
shop
true,
owners.
yeah.
Bro. They just know drunk people want to eat. Coles and Woolies aren't open. $17 for a kebab, done. And they know what they're doing, bro. They're smart. In Melbourne's got the only 24-hour kebab shop in Australia, I'm pretty sure. Which is crazy to even say out loud.
Is it just one kebab shop that does it?
Well, it was for a certain amount of time, like 7 days a week, but
Far out.
so like there'd obviously be some that in the CBD, of course in Sydney there's some where they do like, all the way through on a weekend, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday they wouldn't. But I'm pretty sure more would do it now, but when I was younger. So yeah, you finish say 2 a.m. for argument's sake, and then say what, you'd have like a 5 or 6 a.m. flight,
Yeah.
and then you just go to the airport and wait. You ever fall asleep, miss a flight?
No, I've never missed a flight. I've only ever had a when I say bad experience, I mean like a cancelled flight once, which was at the beginning of this
That's
year.
good. One cancelled flight.
Yeah.
That's gone.
I don't like knock on wood because I don't want that to ever happen again. And that I was in Perth. Oh God. And I wasn't just in Perth. It was when I was doing a gig in like up north of Western Australia. So that was my connecting flight. My connecting flight was supposed to be at midnight. So I get to go into the Virgin Lounge because I've got enough points to do that now.
Yeah.
I was waiting there, ate my food. By the time go to board, go to the plane, and then they took a few of us off, and they were like, "Sorry, like you guys have to go on the next. Like we have to put you on a different flight." It's 12 in the morning. They're like so they put us in a hotel for like only like 5 hours or less, and we had to go like.
Did you miss your gig?
No, this is on the way home.
Oh, okay.
Lucky, which is at least I didn't have anywhere to really be on time.
Yeah.
Like that's the only bad experience I've had. But in terms of missing flights, nah, I've never missed a flight because I stay awake.
Yeah.
I stay awake for them, and I always tell myself I'll go back to sleep when I hit Sydney in the morning, and I never do. I'm overtired.
Yeah.
I get there and then I'll see my partner, and then we'll go like get something. Unless she comes with me, so sometimes she travels with me as well.
That's nice.
Which is better. It's always better whenever she comes with me. It's just more fun. I feel more motivated to go experience that area when she's with me because it's like sometimes she wants to do it and I don't. But by the time we do, like I'm having more fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's when I do those basically fly in, fly out. Like it's tough on the body just because I'm staying awake.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't do that anymore.
Keep doing it, bro.
Again, it's only when I do those like I did it for Perth once.
Yeah, that's rough.
That was tough.
Yeah.
I said to myself, yeah, no more. I'll book a hotel in Perth.
Yeah, for Perth you have to because you literally are flying. Like if you're in Europe, you're literally flying across like 10 countries. You know what I mean? Yeah, because we say it's like because like back to that thing. It's like we are still in Australia, but it's literally fucking so far away. It's crazy. Yeah. With other flying, like with Melbourne, Brisbane gigs, do you get them quite often? Or you like to stay local more than anything?
No, Melbourne, surprisingly, Melbourne's one of the cities I've done the least. I think I've only done Melbourne 3 times.
You done Laundry Bar?
Sorry, no.
Yeah, because that's pretty big hip hop bar, eh?
Yeah, one thing I noticed about Melbourne and Sydney, though, is they like to stick with their local DJs. They like to stick with whatever's there.
Oh, Melbourne at the moment. It's crazy, bro. It's like a whole movement down there.
Yeah.
No one come in, but no one leave. True, bro. Fuck. Like I know people in it. Like it's they're going through their own movement at the moment, the techno movement.
Yeah.
It's massive. Like it's killing it. But like, yeah, it's like a community, like a gated community almost.
Nothing wrong with that though.
Nah, 110%. It's like, yeah, you support me, I support you. Together we rise. But Sydney, I've noticed is the same. I never really went clubbing. When I did, more often than not, DJ was a resident or some sort, or like I'd seen them before when I did go clubbing. But yeah, I don't do it as much anymore.
Yeah, I never really see guest DJs outside of Sydney in Sydney, and then vice versa with sorry, not vice versa, but with Melbourne as well. You never see anyone from Sydney in Melbourne or anyone outside of Melbourne in Melbourne. It's just Melbourne. But still, there's other cities. So
yeah,
Brisbane I've been to quite a bit. I think Darwin I've been to the most.
They love their hip hop up there, eh?
But people are always surprised when I say that as well. When I say that that's the number, like that's where I've been the most.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, bro. It's just always kind of been like I've just always known Darwin love their hip hop.
Okay, so you don't have the like you understand it then.
Yeah, but that's because I'm part of like the scene. So
okay, yeah, fair enough.
So I understand like people. So like you telling me that's not a shock because I've heard like this artist say like Darwin want to book me every fucking second week. But
I like Darwin.
Yeah,
I like Darwin. I like Darwin because it's different as well. It's a bit different to Or every city's different to each other. So I guess.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying. The eastern side of the country is pretty similar.
Yeah.
It's not too different. But Darwin's a bit of a different gravy.
Yeah, it really is. And I guess because I sort of know the area now because I've been booked there quite a few times.
Yeah.
So I'm familiar with it. So I do enjoy Darwin. It's very humid there.
Yeah.
And I forget that sometimes.
Nuts, eh?
Yeah, man. I don't think I could live there.
Darwin. I think you get used to it. One of my mates in the army, he's like had to go up to north parts of the country, different North Queensland and Northern Territory. And he's like, yeah, you just kind of get used to it. He's like, it's fucked for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's pretty bad. But after a while, you just get used to the humidity. Saying that, bro, Penrith hits like 44 degrees some summers.
That's the thing with Sydney, though, is that we're lucky because we get every sort of weather throughout the year.
Yeah.
So we're sort of we probably have we have the attire to go anywhere.
Yeah.
You need warm clothes to go to Melbourne, like you got that. You need like more summery stuff for Darwin, you got that.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're sort of lucky in that sense. I feel like Melbourne's unlucky because they have all the seasons, but only like in a single day they get it.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't judge for the weather there.
Yeah.
That's coming from someone that doesn't live there though. So tell me if I'm wrong.
Have you ever done like middle of the country? Like
Alice Springs.
Yeah, cool. How was
Twice.
that?
Very
What's the population of Alice Springs? Can't be that small.
7? I don't know.
I'm gonna look that up. Sorry, everyone. I genuinely want to know this right now. It can't be, bro.
What was the census? 2022.
Yeah, Alice Springs population. It can't be smaller than like I was literally going to say 20,000. 25,000. That's not that bad.
Yeah.
You'd think it was, I don't know. I feel like it comes across as smaller than that. But it's just famous for what's around it, right? But yeah.
It's actually pretty small if you think about you can fit, sometimes when you go to like
Panthers
games
Stadium.
at stadiums, like you're like, if this is everybody that's here, this is very small.
How was playing at Alice Springs?
It's all right. Like
when did you play there?
last year and 2019.
It's been a bit crazy up there over the past year or two with the crime.
Yeah, I don't think I was like really around for
Yeah.
that though. Again, I was only there one day,
Yeah, in and
both
out.
times. Yeah, Alice Springs, that's in the middle.
Similarly, this is my question. So, like, when people go to these rural areas, you're the perfect person to ask, and you do these gigs,
Yeah.
is it just like a pub turns into like a venue, or do they actually have a dedicated club, like a nightclub?
Most of the time, it's the pub situation.
Thought so.
Yeah, usually. I'm trying to think. No, they're all like pub situations that I can think of. Some of them have a proper setup too, though. So like, it is a pub or a restaurant or whatever, but they have like proper speakers and stuff. So like, they've done a better job at trying to make it more like a club.
Yeah.
Like I can think of Karatha that I went to a few months ago. They were like that. They had a proper setup, like proper stage, like they had not a proper stage. Oh yeah, that was a proper stage. Stage, speakers, sound guy, everything.
Yeah.
And then other places is like two speakers and but it's not about that. It's not about that. I'm just comparing it. That's why I'm saying this. But it's not about that. It's more about the night.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's always good. Like I don't think I've done a bad rural gig yet.
Yeah.
Like Broom's cool. They're all backpackers there, so like they probably won't be there much longer either. Like they probably come on like the next week as well. Same with Darwin. Darwin's got a lot of backpackers.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that are just like in and out. Like,
considerably cheaper than, like I said, the eastern border. I'd say that's why a lot of backpackers head there. Like you could stay somewhere in those cities a lot cheaper than anywhere in Sydney.
Plus, they like that hot weather too.
Yeah, because more often than not, they come from countries that don't have
Very cold.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
What's the biggest crowd you've played in front of?
Tiger's concert.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
How was that?
I opened for Tiger. That was cool. That was really cool. I think that was 2019 as well.
Oh yeah, peak stuff.
Yeah, right after Taste.
Yeah,
Or was it before Taste? No, it was after Taste. Yeah. After Taste came out.
Yeah, how many people was that?
Couldn't tell you, to be honest. I can't remember.
Did you look up and go like? So when you're performing in front of that many people, my question is, if I looked up, I'd go, "Oh shit!" Like, there's that many people in the room, or do you not consider? This sounds so stupid to say out loud, but do you not consider that they're people and you just do your thing?
It's not that I consider that they're people. It's sort of just like the amount of people. Like, there's probably some figure where it's like that's it. Like there's probably like 30 people. After 30 people, that's just void. Like,
yeah,
I'm only gonna care about 30 people's opinions, and then after that, like that's too many people to even worry about.
Yeah,
it's like 100 people to 1,000 people. It's like I'm still gonna hear it from the same people, the same amount of people.
Yeah.
It's not 1,000 people responding to me, like besides live, but I have enough confidence in myself that I won't do a bad job to receive that bad, that bad reaction. But yeah, I guess it gets to a certain point where it's like, like I said, 1,000 and 100 probably the same to me at this point. But that was that was my biggest crowd, probably by far. I can't think of any.
How many would you say rough? 10 to 15?
Yeah, about 15.
Yeah.
Maybe 20. I don't know why the 20 is coming to my head, but I think maybe 15.
Yeah. It's a lot of people, bro.
Whatever Horden Pavilion can fit, that's what it was. Because that's where it was.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So whatever that was.
Yeah, that freaked me out, man.
Yeah.
Because, I've spoken to boys who've played, like, good level of sport and whatnot, and they'll be like, or even musicians, they echo similar sentiments. It's like, you're in the game, or you're in the, like, you forget there's people.
Yeah.
As dumb as that sounds. It's just like, you just kind of block it out and then you're just doing your thing.
Yeah.
And by chance, all these people are watching you live. It's a pretty crazy concept.
And they probably don't even know it until They jump on social media and everyone's either bagging them out or
having a
praising
crack.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. Other things I wanted to ask you. What would be, say, your biggest pinch me moment, or just biggest pinch me moments altogether so far?
I don't know. It's sort of hard because I felt like I grew with the scene. So people that are like popping off, I sort of like understood were there. And I understood they were there before they took off anyway.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, in my place in the music scene, like there's no really pinch me moments. I guess the fact that I get to travel for what I do.
That's cool.
That probably comes to mind. I don't know if that's because we just talked about it, but that came to mind.
That'll hit home, especially when you do international, I reckon.
Yeah.
Where you'll be like, you see your mates save up a lot of money at normal jobs to go travel, and then you're like, fuck, I get paid to do this. Like, how cool is this, you know?
Yeah. I think I do that already
Yeah.
when I'm on the plane. And I'm like, I didn't spend money to get on this plane, but people do. I mean, I've spent money. Don't get me wrong. I spend money to go on planes sometimes, but like being that that's my job is going to other places sometimes and performing. It's like, wow, like that's my job.
Yeah, it's cool.
I guess that's a pinch me moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of. I guess it's sort of hard just because I've done it for so long now, or not even just for so long, but I've done it at a young age. So I was sort of growing into it, into the fact that that's sort of what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Because I was doing it for money during high school, not thinking of it as my job.
Just as like, I'm hustling type.
I wasn't getting money.
Yeah.
I didn't need money, but I was getting it.
Yeah.
And then I got to an age where you need money.
Yeah.
And I was still doing it. So nothing really changed besides its frequency. That's it.
Yeah. With DJing, what would you say when you're doing a live gig? What would you say are things that or fans / the crowd do that you love? Like 2 things that they do that you're all for, and then what are things they do that as a DJ could shit you? Because I don't like to bring negativity at all, but I have to ask you the question because once again, to refer to him, Jerby's my only point of reference.
That's fine.
I go up like behind the decks with him when he has like, because it's the techno scene, it's kind of like boiler room vibes.
Yeah,
But it's
okay,
like,
yeah.
There's people around the DJ, and I'll be next to him, and he'll be showing me, because on the board, obviously you do the fuck, I don't know the words, but like he'll be showing me what song's next.
Oh yeah,
and I'll be in his ear, like, yeah, fucking oath, like, because I listen to everything he puts out, and I'll be like, yeah, fucking oath. Or then I'll just kind of be there with him, and I'll be filming him, getting good photos and stuff on my phone just for him, and just being next to him as his mate, like hyping him up. But sometimes I'll be there, and people are just so rude, like. Especially at those ones where you can get next to the DJ. Like, there's been girls that come on and like will like bump into him and then like try and be like on the decks. You're like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, what would you say, like 2, or just a few of each? Like, what are a few like big things that you love, and then maybe some things that like kind of like set you off a bit where you're like, please don't do that.
Things that I love about the crowd. I mean, besides like responses, because I feel like that's because of me. It doesn't really count. I like when people request good songs.
Yeah, obviously that's a subjective, but
I like when I'm exactly.
yeah.
I like on like the tail of that. Like I like when people request a song and it actually fits. I could actually play it next because it's a similar tempo and it works. And again, very similar to that. When I know that the crowd is into stuff that I'm not necessarily too into myself, and someone requests a song that I do like, and I'm like, yes, like I get to play something I really do like. In terms of just generally like what I love, I can't really think of many that don't have anything to do with what I do.
Yeah, 110%.
Like when you said, what don't you like at the club? I hate when people kiss, bro. I hate seeing people hooking up in the clubs. I know it's the thing. Don't get me wrong. I know it's not like a new thing. That's what people do at clubs, whether it's their partner or a random. I don't like looking at it.
Yeah, public affection sets a few people off.
Yeah, I don't know, but even just like I could see people kissing like in a shopping center or like on the street, and I don't care. But like for some reason, people are so aggressive when they kiss in the nightclub. It's so, man.
I thought you were gonna mention like how people might like touch your decks or something. I didn't expect.
Oh
that.
yeah, but like that doesn't happen as often as people might think.
Yeah,
I'm quite blocked off in a lot of the venues that I play at.
Yeah, right.
I don't like when people say no one's dancing and everyone's dancing. It's only happened like 3 times, but like
Yeah.
they'll be like, "Oh, play this," and it'll start pumping. I'm looking at everyone's having such a good time, except for there's a one guy and or girl.
Yeah, they're just projecting their own insecurity.
They're like, "Oh," someone said to me I don't want to say where it was because that narrows it down.
Yeah. Yeah, but at a gig.
At a club like 3 months ago, the club was vibing and it was like I think it was playing like a Sean Kingston song. So obviously all the Islanders and anyone that was into like 2000s music were going off to it. It wasn't that song, but
Well, what song was it? Eeny Me?
Nah, Me Love.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a throwback.
Yeah, that's one song that I always put in there. And
Because a lot of people could, if you were to go Sean Kingston, you wouldn't bring up Me Love, but if it started playing, you start singing it.
I like to bring songs in. I've been doing it for long enough that I think some people know that I do that song now. I like to do songs that like people have forgotten about.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
when the
sick.
best reactions come out. But yeah, I think it was that song that was playing. And this girl goes, "Oh, when are you going to start playing something good?" And I'm like, and I know when the crowd isn't responding as well as I'd like them to. And I know when they are.
Yeah.
And they were loving it. And I just sort of laughed it off.
Yeah.
And then she came back 2 more times. The second time she goes, "Can you play a Taylor Swift song?" I'm not even kidding. She actually asked for a Taylor Swift song. I can't remember what song it was. Romeo, take me somewhere we can be alone. She asked for that one. That's
Banger,
the one.
just
What's
in
that
the
one
right
called?
venue.
Love Story.
Yeah. Banger just in context.
Yeah. Good song. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah, in context. And then the third time she was like, "When's the other DJ coming back on?" Because he was playing house music. So when's the other DJ coming back on?
That would set me off, eh?
I just pointed there and she looked and I went like this because I was not in the mood.
Yeah.
And like it didn't do anything, but I just ignored her after that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was the last time she said anything.
Has anyone ever spilt? Oh, yeah, because it wouldn't be your stuff, but anyone spilt drinks on your?
No, it's always artists that are always in front of me performing and they get the water bottle and they do that and sometimes it goes on my laptop and it's not much of it, but just a droplet of water can just ruin your whole anything.
It gets in that one spot under the keyboard and you're like,
Yeah.
it's done.
Yeah, and I don't want that happening to me.
Yeah.
I need that key.
Yeah.
But it's always the artists that do that.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that, eh?
Yeah. YoungnLipz, can you stop doing that in front of me? Next time I perform for or DJ for any artist, I'm just gonna get a towel and just hold it there when I know. I don't care how I look.
Are you DJ for those boys as well?
No.
Yeah, right.
I don't really want to be anyone's DJ.
Yeah.
I was DJing for YoungnLipz for a little bit. He's got DJ Knickknack, who's so good because he's really good on the mic as well.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't really jump on the mic.
Yeah.
I probably should. It's so weird. Like, I'm a confident person. I can talk to anybody, and I get comfortable enough straight away, or not straight away, but like
Yeah, you can
within
hold a
reason.
conversation.
Yeah. And I'm very confident in that sense. Once I'm behind a mic or a camera, besides I think podcasts I'm fine with now. Like,
Yeah.
only because I don't feel like I'm in front of a camera. Good job, by the way. Like, but like when I'm recording myself, like I was saying to you earlier, when I do my promo videos and I'm like, "Hey, like what's up, guys? Catch me at this club or whatever." Like that's when I buckle behind a mic and behind a camera. Like when I do my content videos, it's fine. I'm not speaking. Like I'm just miming the words, and that's fine. But when I have to speak, I think because I take a lot of pride in the way I speak, especially in videos. That's why my promo videos are actually not that entertaining.
Yeah.
Because I'm very. It sounds like a speech. I'm like, "Hey guys, catch me at this club at this time. I can't wait to sit." Like it sounds very like advertisement.
Yeah.
Just again, it goes back to the whole thing. Like it makes me seem like I'm not a very interesting person.
You need to watch Gus Gould origin speeches, man. That's all, bro. That's where I got my like. You just learn how to like just go. Like you just say something that makes no sense, and all of a sudden you can just tie it back in and boom. Like,
I think the thing is context for me. I can do that in a regular conversation. I can do that if I was, I don't know, lecturing somebody or whatever. But the moment it's an official thing like a promo video or emceeing in a nightclub, I overthink and I'm like, I want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
Especially if people are going to take notice of it. Like, I want it to be perfect. And yeah, I'm a chronic overthinker. So like that stuff, that really gets to me.
Yeah. It gets me as well.
Yeah. But I feel like with this, it's cool because, again, it's natural conversation for us.
Yeah.
And so I don't feel that same pressure of like trying to speak in a perfect manner. I'm just speaking.
Yeah, 110%.
I'm doing this.
You speak very well.
Thank you.
Yeah, you don't. I noticed I
just sound like a Westie.
No, but like slang and swearing, you don't tap into at all, if any.
Yeah, I like. When I say I used to, I mean like during high school, like I would speak like that.
Yeah.
Sup, lad? Like just typical, like.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I feel like I've become far more articulate, but I will still speak in like slang.
I say bro. I don't know.
Yeah, it's happening, bro.
I say man a lot now, actually.
My references for a brother, so to speak, or like, or just one of my friends would always change. What's happening, bro? It's cracking. I don't know. It just always changes. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm one of those people. My greetings are always different.
Depending on who it is, or it could be the same person and it changes.
I say it to my uncle, say it to my grandfather, say it to my best mate. I don't know. I say it to the guy at fish and chip shop serving me.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's like happening, bro.
Yeah. So you're not really affected by the context of it?
I know how to address certain people. But
I mean in terms of people that you do know though.
Yeah, no.
So like you said, you're like it could be like your
because I'm the same. So like, yeah, what's happening, like that doesn't change for anyone. I don't really say like how I are. You know what I mean? But in business, like being in my job, being a career, I go, hey mate, how are you? You good?
Yeah.
Like put on the Aussie. But like, just happening and all that, I kind of keep the same. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then with my mates, obviously can just talk absolute shit for hours and just, But I don't know. I'm not really formal. I'm horrible at being formal.
I'm good at being formal. I think that's where the comes.
Where do you reckon you get it from? Bro, by all definition, I should be. Like I had an amazing childhood, and I grew up in the Blue Mountains. I went to St. Columbus, and then I got a university degree. So by all definition, I should at some point have developed. But like by standard, I should have developed like this vocabulary. But like in a formal setting, I'm pretty shocking.
Are you in a formal setting often?
It used to be with work, but not really anymore. Even with uni.
But how were you there at work and uni?
Yeah, even with customers, bro. Like back at like JB Hi-Fi, I just go, "Hey mate, like what's cracking? Like what's going on?"
Oh, but to be honest, JB Hi-Fi is very free. Has that reputation of like free, free personality workers. Like,
True. But like even the boys would pick up the phone, like, "Hey, how can I help you today?" I'd be like, "Hey mate, what's your problem? Like, what can I do for you?" You know what I mean? Because I just wanted to get it sorted. You know what I mean?
This guy's not helping me.
But yeah, I don't know. It's something I struggle with. I've definitely become more articulate, but the actual, formality of how I speak, I need to improve on. Whereas you do that very well. You nail it.
I think I've sort of prioritized that. It's not even a necessity to prioritize your speech and like your.
Fuck, that's me.
That's what I sound like when I'm doing my videos as well.
Like robotic.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Siri.
I'm pretty sure I start every time with, "Hey everyone." That's how I start my promo videos.
I think so many people do that. Have you ever tried? Like, yeah, exactly. You've been in the same position when you're filming yourself on a camera and you just come up with the same intro every single time, and you're like, "No, that's not it." And you go back. That's another thing. Like, I
noticed it like maybe 10 minutes ago. I said like 3 times in a row. I'm pretty sure. I was like.
Yeah, it's how we bridge. It's how we bridge sentences and sayings together, and I struggle sometimes. I genuinely am conscious of it, and then I'll listen because I edit this. I go through it, one full listen, cuts, go again, make sure it's all perfect.
Yeah.
So I'll listen to myself for 4 hours, and yeah, sometimes I go, "Oh, I thought I was doing so well," and then there'll be a 10-minute period where I say it all the time, and I just beat myself up. I just go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just go, Yeah, I was literally about to say like there, but you just go and you're like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, why am I saying this so much? I've said it twice there.
Yeah.
But I've got to figure out how to correct that. That's another thing, eh?
You don't have to, unless you want to.
You definitely want to, but I don't want to go. I don't want to be 40 talking to my son, going like.
It might be inevitable at this point. That seems to be language. That's like see, I just said it. That's the universal language at this point.
You don't even notice you're saying it, eh? It's crazy.
Like you said, it bridges sentences.
Yeah.
It's also your filler for your thoughts.
Yeah.
Like
sure.
you're trying to connect it to something every time.
Yeah.
Half the metaphors you use have like in it. So when you're trying to compare it to something, you're gonna say like.
Yeah.
When you're waiting for that tail of the sentence.
Yeah, for sure. And when podcast of a DJ and this shit, and we're talking about this shit. But yeah, no, for sure. It's just like, oh god, but
that's
yeah,
language.
Yeah. When you're doing it, sometimes you use it in the right setting, but you become conscious of it. So then you just go like, come on, man, like, what are you doing? And then sometimes you use it in the wrong setting. You don't even notice it. It's, oh, man.
Yeah.
The more you know. Last question. Where do you see the Australian music scene heading?
Oh, that's always a good question. I don't even know where I see it heading. It's sort of like what I'm waiting for.
I could tell you my answer and see if you agree.
Yeah, you go first.
UK. Let's take that as a case study.
Okay.
You have grime, and then you have drill. So Oz rap, gutter rap, drill, and then you have Nux, Georgia Smith, Saint, and then you just have Unknown T, who's a complete anomaly. So he does whatever he wants, right?
Yeah.
Then you have like Nines and Pot of Paper, who are gangster rappers, but they can tap into anything they want to tap into. So you have like, you have all these different contingents. You know what I mean? Where you go into a jazz sound, and then you still have your drill sound, but it goes into more of a gangster sound eventually.
Yeah.
And then you have your Georgia Smiths, where it's vocals, and do you know what I'm saying? It goes into, under the one cultural umbrella, you have so many different scenes, and you can hop between them, and there's no issue. Everyone kind of has them in their playlist.
Yeah.
But everyone has their own little pockets.
Yeah.
That's where I think. Oh, and like you have Afro swing over there as well, right? Like in Afro beats as well.
The thing with our scene is that we are an amalgamation of every other scene, but that is Australia in just as a country. Like we are a combination of everything.
Same with England, but
England is also England. Like we have England in us as well.
Yeah, for sure. But
through history, that's just.
But you know, like the English scene is, if we're to be completely honest, mostly Caribbean and African influenced.
Yeah, but we don't have a big Caribbean and African influence because we have a lot of Caribbean and African, like authentic influence on us. We take that same influence from the same people, from people who were also influenced.
Yeah,
we're being influenced by the influence. Yeah. We're getting. Sorry, I was gonna say with the leftovers. That's not the term at all.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah. We're the second. They're the bridge, so to speak, or like we're the second second source. Whereas
exactly, we're the second source.
They've got their direct influence, but ours is through them to that direct influence.
Our direct influence based on the scene and its, I guess, its more popular ethnicity in it would be like island focused. Like, but we haven't really had that as much.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
but we're tapping into it.
Yeah, exactly,
big time.
But our more popular music has been the influenced by the influence, like or even just I guess the only thing I can sort of I guess Hefs is a good example of like sort of its authenticity in its own. Like he's known for his like party stuff as well.
Yeah,
and like that's like universal, like that EDM music, that's universal.
Yeah.
but yeah, we don't take what we have and try and be influenced by that. It's almost like copycat.
You reckon we're always looking overseas?
Yeah, yeah, but it's a lot of it has to do with the fact that our audience sometimes can't respond well enough, and it's like it's a fair point. Like we can't just say that like the audience aren't always the dictators of it. Like I guess in a sense they sort of set how far some artists go, but if you did drill like 2 years before like 1-4 were doing drill, they like you wouldn't like if they were doing drill and the UK hadn't done drill, probably wouldn't have popped off as much.
Yeah, for sure. I get what you're saying. By nature, we're a few years behind.
Yeah, like anything original, like they can't do it.
Yeah,
you can't do it. Audience doesn't like that.
Yeah, but it will. To give an example, 7-0 and the boys at 92 World.
Yep.
I think that will catch on.
Yeah, me too.
So, like, I think there is a gap. It's a matter of, like, they're going to have to push it for a few years, but, like, it's going to be such a slog. But when they've got the support of people like Izzy Adesanya, like we've talked about, that synergy, Bam Bam and all that, it helps it grow. Yeah. And that's, if we can really start focusing on the production of original music, I think that's where, an original sound, and tapping into our heritage and nations that maybe aren't represented as well elsewhere in music, especially Pacific Islands, bro. They have such a natural love for music, natural kinship for it.
Exactly.
So it's a matter of like, how can we harbour that into originality here and really push that forward, so that maybe someone from the UK goes, fuck, I want Jazz Nobody in my playlist, and I want 7-0 in my playlist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want YoungnLipz on his Australian accent on these melodies in my playlist. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
I think that's where it's at.
I think we already have good enough music. I just think that our audience is quite spoiled in the sense that like they won't listen to someone who's on the same wave as SZA. They'll go listen to SZA. Yeah. Unless everybody else is listening to this person, then they'll listen to it. Like that's what we do. Like that's what the Australian audience do. Like we ride the waves of like the audience.
Yeah, big time.
It's sort of hard. It's just like I do feel bad for artists that are in genres that aren't popping off as much as the other ones, like because it's a harder scene for them. Live shows might be easier to get around. They don't have the pressure of the police, but they have the lack of audience.
Yeah, for
sure. It sucks because it doesn't have much to do with their music. The only reason I say much is because sometimes it's just not live performance.
Yeah,
it's not the type of music you do at live performances. But I honestly, I wish all the best to everyone that's in the music scene, just because like so much talent, so much hard work.
Everyone deserves to do it full time.
Yeah, everyone deserves to do what they love.
Yeah,
and live off of it as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's it for today. 2 hours and 20, bro.
Nice.
Yeah. Good hit out, man. Good hit out.
What's the longest one?
Fuck. Stay with me, man.
Stay with us.
Stay with me, people. Helos and Homies. I want to say it's around 220. I've done some before where we talk about stuff and then they go, hey, big fella, need to cut this out. And it goes down. All right. 1 hour 45 with Kev. 2 hours 19 with Caleb Coroneos. 2 hours 15 with Kat Haddad. Bro, there's somewhere I thought I went for so much longer than I did and I had to cut some out. Hour 55 with Nick Stav. That's just me talking football. Oh, some of them I'm mid listening to, so it just says like 30 minutes left. But
yeah.
You know what I mean? Honestly, bro, if I was to bet, I think you're in the lead.
Cool.
I think you're in the lead. Could be wrong. But yeah, you're definitely up there.
It's not a competition, guys. It's fine.
Yeah, but setting records, man. We're getting better. That's a sign. Episode 55, man. Oh, 56 by the time Mason Dane comes out. Who would have thought? Nonetheless, nice. Brother, I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate you reaching out, and I'm very happy to be here.
Happy to have you in the studio. Socials. Look into the camera. Shout them out.
All of my socials are just DJ Discretion. For those that can't spell discretion, because I get it, people get it wrong all the time. It's not discreation. It's not disconnection. DISCRETION.
You have no trouble finding it, man. 500K and 200K on Spotify.
Unless you spell it wrong.
Yeah. Anyway, see you next week.